8 minutes to post to the opening dash at Grand River Raceway on this magnificent Monday. You know what that means. It's early pick five time. We love this wager here, and you should too. Guaranteed pool, $5,000. Low takeouts, always just 15%. And Gary and I will always run down what our suggested plays are for the early pick five. And tonight's sequence, always an interesting one, especially when we start off with those 2-year-old trotting fillies in the prospect series. We did this exact same thing last week with this similar group starting us off on that card. And for me, it's tough to really narrow these ones down because we do have horses that might be prone to making some miscues. A lot of inexperience going on in these 2-year-old trotting events, but I thought Sand Dune looked really good in victory last time. Loved the way that she kind of let a horse come to her, and then fought back and won by a pretty clear margin. She's now a perfect 2 for 2. Hard to go against her here with the pole position. Same spot she won from last time, but 4 to 5 on the board. And you're expecting her to take a lot of support. The 2 Graceful China is interesting to me. Only missed by a neck in her latest. She's still, 0 for 7 in her career, but she's got 3 on the board finishes. I just went 1-2 here. I think you can make a case for others. Obviously, maybe make a case for the whole field. But I needed to kind of start off with just a couple here because I wanted to spread out in some other spots. So just 1 and 2 for me in the opening dash. 1, 2, and 5 for me in race 2. I like the one Jules Diamond Eyes, third start of her career coming up. I have thought she's kind of been intriguing in both of her efforts, finishing fourth. Pink G was one I thought raced fantastic in her lifetime debut. Daryl Tisano appears to have sided with the one Jules Diamond Eyes, and the 5 rolled a bet, first time starter, strong connections, and a horse I thought qualified pretty good. So 3 deep there. Race number 3, we're going to single up on the 6, dealing with Dewey. Mohawk Park Invader. Last time and a half, he raced fantastic, and really, I think he's only had a couple of starts in his life over the short track, and both of them were real good efforts. So I think he's going to like getting here to the river against this group. It is a solid preferred trotting event, but I like him the best, and we're going to single up on him in race 3. 1, 3, 4, and 5 for me in race 4. Tough looking non-winners in one event for fillies and mares. I'm siding with the 5 True That on top. I think that's the one you want to kind of maybe look for value with, but going 4 deep there, 1, 3, 4, and 5. Race 5, just 2 deep, the 3 Fox Hunt and the 5 St. Lad's Beat It. The 5 St. Lad's Beat It's the one that I'm going to give the lean to. I think he's been really racing well since getting back here to the river. Seems to really prefer this surface. And last time, a solid third, getting beat to a length to Curious Cortez. So $9.60 is the way that I see. But let's see what Gary Guy has in store for us tonight.
Well, Rob, I'll spend a little bit more money. And look, in the first race, we both have one Sand Dune. I didn't take one Sand Dune on my pick 5 last start, and well, that was proven to be quite wrong. And also, I've added number 3, the Blondie. I've left out Graceful China, so there's our difference in the first. But yeah, Graceful China, second beat in a neck last time out, so a solid outing. Second race, I do have Pink G on top. I have 1, 2, 6, but I'm getting to have buyer's remorse that I didn't add in roll the bet because I just that could be dangerous. And in race number 3, we see it the same way. I think dealing with Dewey, the field's nice, but I think he might be just a little too much for them. In race number 4, I thought for sure that I would be with True That as my top pick, and that you wouldn't have True That as your top pick, but I do have the 3, 5, and 6, and so we both like True That the most in there. But the 3, 5, and 6 series Sealster Handbag of Cheesies is one that I'm hoping at a bit of a price just could step up, because I think I've seen a little bit from her and think that could be interesting. And in race number 5, yeah, I like St. Lad's Beat It a lot. I have the 3, 4, 5 in there, so $10.80.
Well, there you have it. So Gary and I kind of see things very similar tonight. I mean, throughout the sequence, sounds like we also have a few top choices that I actually thought that I might be the creative one having on top, but it looks like we're in this together tonight. So 8 combos for us multi winners in this pick 5, but it looks like we're in the same neighborhood throughout this sequence, which is great for a team player like myself. But you got a few minutes away to map out your winning wagers for this early pick 5. Again, the pool's guaranteed at $5,000. Takeout is always a low 15%. And we'll come back in just a few moments to take a closer look at the opening dash, which is a 2-year-old filly trotting event in the Prospect Series.
Field 4, race 1 on parade. 1 Sand Dune, Bruce Richardson for John Holding and Morley Bosworth. And number 2 is Graceful China, Jason Ryan for Paul Reed and Sandra Stammy. And number 3, The Blondie, Travis Embry for J.F. McGuire. Number 4 is Hope and Glory, Steve Byron for Gino Cicero. And 5 is Muscle Charm, Colin Kelly for Alan Bredner and Paul and Jamie Cameron. Field of 5, race number 1, the Prospect Series. Let's get a look at this first leg of the pick 5. And, well, Rob Sandoon really stepped up last time out here and raced well. In fact, look, raced well at Georgian Downs too, and yet for some reason I wasn't a believer last time, but now I'm really a believer.
Yeah, now she's also getting that respect on the odds board, right? She got respect last time to 2-1, but didn't go off as the favorite. Won her lifetime debut at over 8-1, and then came back. Last time had the same post, went to the front. What kind of impressed me was obviously, yeah, there's that big second quarter breather, but when the horse did come and challenge her, you could see that Bruce kind of let that rival kind of get out in front by a little bit before fighting back on the inside, and then she won comfortably on the end of it, 203 and 4, which was significantly faster than the other divisions. So I just thought that you know, she was one that you can come right back and win. I mean, she hasn't lost yet. The problem tonight is obviously she's 3-5. I mean, if you choose a singler in the pick 5, I don't think it's a terrible decision. But I also thought that there was another one that was worth using in here. But as you always say, Gary, right? It's still 2-year-old trotting fillies, and anything can happen in those events.
Yeah, you remember my plan, but we'll see if it unfolds that way, where you throw out the favorite and box the rest. And look, 2-year-old trotting fillies. But a 2-year-old trotting filly that almost won last time out is Too Graceful China. You used that one on your pick 5. I didn't, and 7-1. That could be a nice value on the pick 5.
Yeah, I thought she would be a value player, and she's providing it right now at an 8-1 now, and I'd be surprised if she stays at that price. I was thinking maybe 5-1 would be the number she goes off at. So right now we're a touch higher than that. But last time I thought decent effort, right? Sat the 2 hole for much of the mile and ended up only getting beat a neck to Muscle Charm. She had the post advantage over that one last time. It now gets a little bit wider with Muscle Charm moving out one more spot, and on top of that, you've got one like Sandoon who's going to push out from the inside. Grace will try to make it to the 2 hole, and now this time around might not have to worry about the legs of Muscle Charm, even though that one might show speed as well. I just thought she's the trip horse here. Well, she is over 7 on the season. I think that stranger things have happened than her kicking off this card tonight. And the price is right now at 5-1. I also think she looks good on the track, so she's got a few things going for her.
Number 5, Muscle Charm, you mentioned, it just might leave from the outset. The nice thing with a field of 5, if you leave out hard, you're not afraid as much about getting stuck and getting parked, because with a field of 5, you probably can find a spot on the inside as you make up your mind.
Yeah, you'd think so, and I mean that's probably one of the reasons too. It's not just that they're 2-year-old trotting fillies that we saw those slow second quarters last time, right? Because they kind of all settle in pretty quickly, and it's a short field, 5 horses, and then the action kind of heats up when it has to, and it kind of becomes a driver's race, and it'll probably kind of play out that way again tonight. And you're right. I mean, I don't see Muscle Charm getting like parked the root or anything from the outside if she decides to try to go forward off the switch, but it might not be as easy as it was last time when you have a horse like Sandoon pushing out of there on the inside. Graceful China is going to look for position. I mean, even the Blondie's one that likes before the place, and Hope and Glory, remember last time, was actually in the 2 hole before making that miscue. So it's one of those races that's interesting. They all might try to leave, Gary, which would, obviously then it would kind of be who can stay steady on their feet and who can kind of go the distance.
And the Blondie is the one that I used for second and on my pick 5, and you for fourth. And the Blondie is getting a fair amount of action at 3-1.
Yeah, and she's one that I kind of jumped off her bandwagon this time. And it's not that she's been racing poorly. I just thought that she had every chance last time to kind of get a bigger, share of it. Obviously, the bigger share of it just winning, but she still got beat by a pretty, pretty wide margin, all things considered. I mean, after getting a nice trip, and I thought that she kind of had the benefit of making a decent move on the final turn, anyways, before having to settle for second. Was a winner, obviously at Clinton, but did break two back. So I left her off the ticket today. I think 7-2 is probably the price you'd have to demand if you're betting her to win.
And Hope and Glory is interesting at 14-1 because had been racing in the grassroots and then last race trying the Prospect Series, but made that break. So maybe we could get the longest shot on the top of the pick five and start things off a little bit with a little bit of crazy action. But look at taking up their position. Sand Dune, Graceful China on the inside. In the center, the Blondie to the outside. Hope and Glory and Muscle Charm. Field of five. Race number one. It's post time. First of 10 dashes on a manic Monday at the river. Field of five for the first race. Fillies gathering speed, approaching the start. And the rough Sandune, Graceful China, Muscle Charm from the outside is going to muscle out strongly, and Muscle Charm is going to grab the lead. Sandune is racing second, Graceful China third, then the Blondie, and Hope and Glory relaxed away trailing the field. Muscle Charm and Colin Kelly. Left hard, 8-1, has the front. Sandune, the 1-2 favorite, races the pocket. Graceful China third, the Blondie and Hope and Glory. It is Muscle Charm on past that opening quarter. 8-1 on the board. Muscle Charm opening panel 30 seconds, and Sandune is racing second and is currently 2 from the front. Then it is Graceful China, the Blondie, and Hope and Glory is trailing the field. It is Muscle Charm. Sandune inches up a little closer in the pocket, and Graceful China is racing third. Then the Blondie and Hope and Glory, 5 in a line as the 2-year-old fillies trot up to the half, and it is Muscle Charm of a 32nd opening quarter here. Quickly comes the Blondie now. Muscle Charm, half 101-3, 31-3 second panel, and the Blondie is going to force the issue, and Sandune is right there on the back of Muscle Charm, and racing forth is Graceful China, and Hope and Glory is trailing the field. Muscle Charm, the Blondie on the outside now is coming to call. The Blondie is trying to track down Muscle Charm off that half of 101-3, and Sandune and Bruce Richardson still there right on the inside, and now it is the Blondie who's going to come on and take the lead, and Sandune has popped out. It is the Blondie who leads Muscle Charm by a length and a quarter, and the Blondie trying to clear and get over to the pylons and is able to do so, but now Sandune is working against the Blondie, and Sandune is coming hard, and Sandune is moving up alongside the Blondie. Sandune and the Blondie as they turn from the Blondie on the inside. Sandune on the outside on down the stretch for us. Sandune now has grabbed the lead and is cruising at the finish. Sandune winning it by about 2.5 or 3. The Blondie second, Graceful China third, and Hope and Glory fourth. Sandune in 202 flat. And Rob, it was interesting watching Bruce Richardson's body language and how little concern he showed as they were racing on that final turn.
Yeah, no, there was no doubt. I mean, it's interesting, right? 'Cause she's in the pocket, and she's behind a horse that's obviously short and stride a little bit, and now you got one on the outside, the Blondie going past, so she gets out behind that one. And it's funny because you're thinking, okay, well, we've seen this horse kind of win from a couple different trips already, but now we'll see if she can, negotiate this one, and she does it with ease, Gary. And she looks like she's kind of a smaller filly. Yeah, definitely a smaller filly than the one she's going past there, and just determined though, right? You could even see just in the horse's body language, she was determined to track that one down, and opened up some margin on her rivals there. So she's been impressive
Yeah,
in all three of her career starts so far.
she looks very athletic and kind of like she enjoys what she's doing.
Yeah, she does. It was the ears kind of get pinned back. She's got her target. She chases it down and then runs away from them. I mean, really, in the end, she looked like every bit of a 1-2 shot should. Even though it's hard for me to swallow that price on a 2-year-old trotting filly, but yeah, listen, impressive, and she certainly established herself as one of the top horses in this division of the Prospect Series.
And you jumped off the Blondie a little bit, but actually that was a pretty credible effort. That's a nice filly in Sand Dune that got the better of her. That's a very credible second.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She went, first over against a horse that was a winner last time on the engine, grinded that one down. We saw it tonight, right? They didn't get that big second quarter breather, so that was kind of part for me. Okay, well who's going to be able to, kind of, stick around and be a part of this when the second quarter isn't, 33 seconds and change, and the Blondie kind of marched straight past, looked like she'd be a winner under normal circumstances. Just got run down by one that has been racing fantastic and is clearly brimming with confidence right now. Right, she's won by open lengths of each of her efforts, and one to keep an eye on going forward.
Yep, 3 starts and 3 wins, and certainly looked very game. Back in front of us is the winner of race number 1. It is number 1, Sand Dune, a 2-year-old, looks like a Chippendale Bay filly. John Holding and Morley Bosworth, the owners. John Holding, the trainer. Bruce Richardson, the winning drive. 3 for 3 lifetime in the win column. Sand Dune, 202 flat. The first race payouts: 1, Sand Dune, 310, 240, and 210. 3, the Blondie, 290, 210, and 2, Graceful China, 250. $2 exactor, 540. Dollar try, 650. Dollar super, 1545.
Sand Dune, an impressive winner in race number 1. Now perfect 3 for 3 in her career. We'll look forward to see her next time out in the Prospect Series. But time to move on to race number 2. You know what that means? It is the start of the early pick 4. Guaranteed pool $2,500. Takeout's always a low 15%. And there's one of our equine athletes getting ready for action in the paddock. Leg number 1 for me, the 1, 2, and 5. I don't have the favorite right now, the 8, Shea Sealster, all the way from post 7 now moving in a spot with a scratch, but I couldn't get there on that one. 1, 2, and 5 for me in the opening leg. My top choice is the 1, Jules Diamond Eyes. Race number 3, well, that's my single. The 6, Dealing with Dewey, getting over to the half-mile surface here at the river after taking on Tougher at Mohawk Park. Love the way this one has handled over the short track in the past and decided to single up on that one against a solid group. If I went too deep, it'd be the 1, Treasure Tea, but I said no. I'm just going to single the 6, Dealing with Dewey, for the combination of Jason Ryan and Sarah Bayerjan. In race number 4, the 1, 3, 4, and 5. Top choice for me is the 5, True That. I think that I'd be surprised to see that 4-1 that he is in the morning line, because I do think that he fits in, or she fits in nicely against that group. And then race number 5, final leg, the 3 and the 5. The 5, St. Laz Beat It, is my top choice. But Fox Hunt, one that looks a little more intriguing now, getting back towards the inside of the gate, and will likely take some support in there, but not so sure we'll see him be the big favorite he was 2 back on Industry Day. But there's my ticket, $4.80 for a 20-cent wager. Again, all hinging on number 6, Dealing with Dewey, in the preferred trot in race number 3. But you've got a couple minutes to map out your winning wagers for this early pick 4, starting right here in race number 2. Low takeout, 15%, guaranteed pool, $2,500. We'll be back in just a couple minutes to take a closer look at race number 2.
Field for the second on parade 1, Jules Diamond Eyes, Daryl Thiessen for Lori LePage and Rebecca Williamson. Number 2, Pink G, Jason Ryan for Chris Hill. For Maternal Instinct, Scott Kohler for Shane Barrington and Aaron Waxman and David Jarvis. And number 5, Roll the Bet, Brett McDonald for Rachel Andrew. Number 6, Coachella, Nick Stewart for Tim Myers and Glenby Farms. Number 7, Telling White Lies, Paul McKenzie for Nelson White and Lisa Lehman. And number 8 is Shea Sealster, Todd Ratchford drives and trains and owns. It's a field of 7, race number 2. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, now 1, Jules Diamond Eyes is your top pick. And I know you were looking at the driver choice, Daryl Thiessen, between making the 1 and 2. And I remember you also talking with Randy Waples about sometimes it doesn't always tell you the full story, because a driver might also be protecting their business interests. And certainly Daryl drives with Lori LePage, who's got a 300-plus training average.
Yeah, no, it's very true. I mean, that's something that I've always talked about, even the Horse Players Journal. A lot of horse players will say that whoever the driver goes with is obviously the one they think's a better horse. Not always the case, but in this one here, I like the way that this filly's gone in each of her 2 efforts so far. She was one that I was kind of intrigued by on Industry Day, actually, when she went off at a big price, 56-1 her lifetime debut. I thought it was a decent effort to finish 4th, and last time even a better one. Finishing in the same position, but now she gets to work from the rail. And I think with that experience under her belt, she looks like she is a big time player in here. No surprise though, she's 8-5 on the board. I thought she would take the majority of the betting support, and we saw Shea Sealster, the 8, actually open with all the money, and now that price is floating up. But I think the deserving favorite in here is the 1, Jules Diamond Eyes.
And I think you're actually right, but my reason for taking Pink G on top is because I thought they're fairly even, and I expect to get much more of a price on Pink G, and 7-1's that price right now.
Yeah, the price is very appealing. I agree with you on that. Pink G was one, if you remember, and we've got a bad habit of doing this, Gary. Said put Pink G on the watch list last week, and now I don't pick her on top. Which again, I just thought that maybe she ran into one that might be a little bit better with the experience she has in her belt with Jules Diamond Eyes. But Pink G, I think, is a big time player here. She was first over a long way in that effort, and for a first time starter to do that and kind of hang tough and not get beat by a wide margin. Yeah, she got beat by almost 5 lengths in the end, but she kept fighting to the wire at 25-1. That's going to really serve her well now coming forward here. You get Jason Ryan aboard now. Good post to work from, same spot she started from last time. I think she's in with a big chance. Now 5-1 now. I thought she'd be more like 3 or 4-1 and thought the 8-1 morning line was a little generous, but we'll see where she ends up on the odds board.
Number 5, roll the bet. We're talking about whether the 1 is better than the 2 or the 2 is better than the 1. And roll the bet, Brett McDonald, Rachel Andrew, might end up being the correct answer on which one's the best in here.
Very possible, right? And moving in a spot 2 on the gate with the scratch of the 3. So starting from post 4 now. And the qualifier was a decent one. Obviously, came home pretty good, right? 57 seconds flat in there, and I thought that it was decent enough to say, she merits big time respect in here. I just, kind of wanted to stick with ones that we know have had, some experience over the surface, right? That's kind of the other thing that we like to look to as much as it's good when they've had that kind of experience of maybe qualifying against better horses and faster times at Mohawk Park. I will gravitate typically to the ones that have got experience over Grand River and have proven they can get around a half-mile track. So that's why I went to the 1 and 2 on top, but roll the bet to me is very intriguing and surprising, sitting at 4-1. I thought there'd be support coming for that one.
Anticipated Coachella getting more bet, and I know this one's been off since June the 3rd, but there's some nice little things to see in terms of half-mile action, and then the barn has been having a very fine year.
Yeah, this is a horse that I thought would take some money too. I thought the 2-1 morning line was obviously way short given the circumstances, right? You're off for significant amount of time, anyways. But I don't mind it when a horse gets freshened up. She's a 4-year-old mare too, who's competing against younger horses here, so there's a big maturity edge in her direction. But obviously, there's not a lot of experience. She's only had those 2 lifetime starts. But I actually kind of think it's not the worst thing in the world when a horse kind of makes a couple of starts that are a little bit decent and was bet down in both those efforts and now has been freshened up. We'll see now what she can do today. But you're right, 6-1's an overlay on Coachella.
Rob, being older doesn't always mean more mature. Am I not an example?
Well, I mean, we'll say you're the exception to the rule, Gary.
Field taking up their positions for race number 2. Jules Diamond Eyes and Pink G on the inside of the center. Maternal Instinct and Roll the Bet and Coachella. And to the outside, Telling White Lies and Shea Sealster. Field of 7. Race number 2. Post time. Here they come. Field for the second taking up their positions. There at the start of the rough, Jules Diamond Eyes, Pink G, Maternal Instinct, and then Telling White Lies and Shea Sealster as they drive into the turn. Jules Diamond Eyes and Pink G is going to ride along in the pocket. Maternal Instinct third, Telling White Lies, and then Roll the Bet on the inside. Shea Sealster and Coachella is back trailing the field. Jules Diamond Eyes at 8-5 has the lead, and Pink G is about 2 1/4 back, racing second. Shea Sealster is still 3 wide and pressing on, Telling White Lies in the 2 wide path, and on the inside, Maternal Instinct, and then it is back to Roll the Bet and Coachella. Jules Diamond Eyes and Shea Sealster wants to apply pressure on the outside. Pink G is right there enjoying the view in the pocket, and Telling White Lies is racing position 4th and still on the outside as they race off a 29-2 opening quarter. Jules Diamond Eyes has got the lead. Shea Sealster on the outside, and Pink G is in the pocket. Telling White Lies is following Shea Sealster to the outside as they race their way past the half, 59-2, 32nd second panel. Telling White Lies drops down to the inside. Now up and moving is Roll the Bet, and then it is back to Maternal Instinct, and Coachella is trailing the field. Jules Diamond Eyes and Pink G is racing second, and then Shea Sealster third. Telling White Lies is fourth, and Roll the Bet is fifth, and then Coachella and Maternal Instinct It is Jules Diamond Eyes. Pink Cheese racing second. There goes Roll the Bet now. And Roll the Bet is rolling and is looking to roll right up alongside Jules Diamond Eyes. And then Pink G on the inside is third. Three quarters, 129 and four. Jules Diamond Eyes, Pink G reclaims second. And Roll the Bet is racing third. Jules Diamond Eyes and Pink G as the field turns from. And Roll the Bet is third on down the stretch. Rough they come. Jules Diamond Eyes as they come to the finish is cruising. Jules Diamond Eyes, Pink G second, Roll the Bet third, and then Telling White Lies 159 flat. Jules Diamond Eyes with a gem of an effort, Rob.
Yeah, it sure was, and great drive too by Gerald Thiessen. Getting to the lead. It's kind of interesting, right? Right off the gate, Gary, huge advantage to the one and the two because there was horses trying to lead, but they were on the outside of the gate, and these two kind of just were able to scoot away with a big advantage off the switch, and was able to get that second quarter breather. Shea Sealster tried to just keep on coming from out there. I mean, maybe that was one of the reasons why we saw so much support because that she was driven with a lot of purpose from the outside of the gate, but just had to keep on driving. Got stuck in the first over position. But you can see here, Gerald Thiessen, easy one of the wire here, tight lines, and a horse that kind of looked like she was progressing in that direction, right? Sitting on a win, and she goes out there and does it.
Yeah, and Pink Chi didn't disappoint me, but Jules Diamond Eyes proved to be very good. Interesting, number five, Roll the Bet is one to keep an eye on. Now, that was the first start in 17 days since the qualifier and flashed a pretty big burst of speed.
It was, yeah. That move, forward move, was a good one, no doubt. And then obviously you could see when Daryl kind of hit the accelerator again, kind of left roll the bet out there a little bit, and then had to settle for third. But you're right. You're seeing a first time starter kind of, she makes that move, kind of similar to what she did in her qualifier too, right? Made a good move in the third quarter. But Pink G, steppy in the first turn, and other than that though, I thought it was a good performance to be second.
Yeah, and sometimes those young ones on the inside getting into that first turn, sometimes I'm not too critical of being steppy just because they're just trying to find their way around it.
Oh, it's true. And second lifetime start, right? So I mean, she's a horse that got away fifth last time, lived on the outside. This time now, she was obviously asked for a little more speed to maintain her position from post two to get in that two hole. And 29-2 is a pretty good quarter. It was being set in front of her, and obviously then she got a little bit steppy. But again, she'll probably work through that and look good the rest of the mile.
And Paul drove Telling White Lies pretty aggressively and still finished fourth. And those two on the outside are ones we're going to hear from, I think.
Yeah, I think so too because they both tried to leave, and that's what kind of left Shea Sealster in a bit of a pickle, right? When the horse directly to the inside of you pushes out of there, it makes your trip all that much tougher. So I don't mind coming back to horses that get tough trips from the outside of the gate.
Well, coming back in front of us, the winner of race number two, it is one Jules Diamond Eyes, a 2-year-old Better Than Cheddar Bay filly, owned by Rebecca Williamson, trained by Lori LePage. Daryl Thiessen is the winning driver. Jules Diamond Eyes, first win, mile of 159 flats. The second race payouts: one Jules Diamond Eyes, 520, 280, 210, two Pink G, 380 and 240, and five Roll the Bet, $2.40. Double of one and one is 940. $2 exactor, 12.30. Dollar try, 13.75. Dollar super, 64.35. The second race. Order of finish, top down, 1 2 scratch 73645. That's 1 2 scratch 73645 on the bottom. Field 4, race number 3 on parade 1. Treasure T. Travis Henry for Francis Guillemette, Eric Beausejour, and Stefan Joffrey. Number 2 is Esquire, Colin Kelly for Mark Goddard and Brendan Guerrera. 3 is Run Like Hell, Samuel Filia for Francis Guillemette. 5 is The Fixer, Scott Gold for David Fry. Number 6, Dealing with Dewey, Jason Ryan for Sarah by Erja. And note delayed from the parade, as usual. Number 4, Sicario, Brent McDonough for Richard Moreau and Pamela and John Heen. Sicario always comes out a little bit late. Let's take a look at your top pick here. My top pick, Rob, number 6, Dealing with Dewey. And one question, of course, how will he deal with the half-mile track? Well, look back May the 28th at Flamborough Downs.
Yeah, and it was a good effort, right? I mean, that was against non-winners of 60,000 life. He ended up having, the pole position. He ended up getting to the lead, converting at 40 cents to the dollar, but it was a pretty good group, right? Non-winners of 60,000 life, but he beat Andy over and Run Like Hill. So it wasn't your everyday run-of-the-mill non-winners of 60,000 life kind of field. And he also was second in a preferred over Flamborough Downs back in October of last year, and was second to Power and Grace. So good form reference there as well. And right now he looks really, proud of himself on the track, head up, ears up. And the horse has been competing against much tougher lately. Middle to upper condition ranks at Mohawk Park. Spartan General winner last time against him when he finished fourth. And before that, Pemberton. I mean, Pikachu, Hanover. These are all horses that will end up making their way up to the preferred at Mohawk Park, if not the free for all, when they're at their best. So I thought that he was very tough to go against in here. Just a matter of what the trip scenario is going to be, but he's kind of a versatile type. He's one that can go to the lead if he has to, or he can even win off a helmet, maybe even first over. So I had a hard time going against him, Gary, and knew we'd have to kind of take a short price, and he's offering that right now at 7-5.
We both saw this race in terms of the exactor as one Treasured T, and look, beat a lesser field here 2 starts ago. Good race though, last race at Mohawk.
It actually was, and the thing was, is he didn't have clearance until it was too late. He actually got stacked up behind them in the stretch, and I actually thought that if he had got through, he made a little more noise. He got beat by a length to his stablemate Arrakis, who actually beat him here at Industry Day as well. And I thought that he looked pretty good up until when he was just trapped behind horses, and then when the clearance came, he punched through a little bit, but it's pretty hard for a horse to kind of go from not being able to move forward, stuck behind horses. All of a sudden now a lane opens up and the wire is right there. So I think he's a major threat to try to go gate to wire in here. We'll see what Dean Ladouis has to say about that off the switch, but he's been in good form right now for a barn that has a tremendous success, especially on the trot.
Number 5, The Fixer, is one that I thought really came on nicely of late, and then, but that last race at Mohawk, tell me about that, because ended up finishing 6th.
Yeah, to me it was against obviously softer competition than Deal Ladoui's been racing against. Didn't really have all that much of a chance in there. Got away fifth, got shuffled back. Did come home in 27-2. Walked away empty-handed at 36-1, but I didn't think it was all that bad of an effort. The one before that, though, here was one that I know we both found impressive. Was first over a long way against Arrakis. I didn't think he was ever in danger of going by that one. I thought Arrakis was kind of playing it cool with Austin Sori on the engine on that occasion, but still was a good second, only beaten half a length, and it hit the board in 3 straight on the B tracks going into his latest. So I think he's intriguing in here, but for me, more so in the exotics. He's 4-1 right now. I think you got to get every bit of that price if you're going to play him to win. But I think when you have to use in the bottom end of the exotics.
And there's one, number 4, Sicario, that you know a lot about, and of course raced at Hanover last race in an invitation. Your thoughts on that startup there?
I thought it was a good one, actually. I could have used them winning it, to be perfectly honest, because he was a good price, and I gave him a whirl just because post 3 and knowing his early speed. I thought he'd be on the blower, and he was. He got run down by Sizzling Hot Herbie. He was a good winner at a short price, but Sicario, to me, he's one of my favorite horses on the B tracks because he seems to always go out there and try hard. Obviously, he got some antics too, which are at times can be a bit frustrating. I'm sure for his connections and and horse players, but he's had a good season again. 4 victories from 26 starts, but he's hit the board 15 times over that span, and there he goes doing Sicario things out there. But usually, when the gates starts to roll, he becomes all business. We'll see if he can do that again tonight.
And one that we've ignored a lot of backlash is to Esquire, but just okay the last couple, but not great, but better post.
Yeah, better post, tactical speed, right? Good things going for him, and even Run Like Hill for that matter. I mean, this field top to bottom is a real good one, Gary. Only 6 horses in it, but there's not a huge margin between the best to the worst, if you want to call that anyone in that field that. I just thought that the shipping in from Mohawk Park had the edge over all of them.
And that one is number 6, dealing with Dewey, 6-5 on the board. It's Treasured Tea and Esquire with position on the inside. Run Like Hill, Sicario. And to the outside, the Fixer, and dealing with Dewey. It's a field of 6. It is race number 3, and it is post time on another manic Monday here at the river. Here they come. Field for the third is at the start of the rough. Sicario bolts out, dealing with Dewey on the outside, but the inside, Treasure T and Esquire. They drive around that turn. Treasure T has the early lead, and Esquire is racing position second. Then Sicario dealing with Dewey fourth. Run Like Hill, and the Fixer is trailing. Treasure T has got the early lead at 2-1. Esquire's racing second. Sicario is position third in front of dealing with Dewey, who's now the 4-5 favorite, and then Run Like Hill, and back to the Fixer, and they roll on past that opening quarter, 27-3. Treasure T leads, and Esquire's racing second. Sicario third, dealing with Dewey fourth, and then Run Like Hill and the Fixer, and they race the way off the turn. Treasure T off a 27-3 opening quarter. We'll look for a breather now as they work their way up towards us, and Esquire is enjoying the view in the pocket. Now here comes dealing with Dewey as they race on past the half, and Treasure T is now going to have to deal with Jason Ryan, and dealing with Dewey 57-1 halftime. And on the inside, Esquire still there in a good spot second. Dealing with Dewey is third. Racing for Sicario. Then the Fixer and Run Like Hill. Treasure T, though, is sharp on the lead and is in front by 3. Dealing with Dewey on the outside is closing ground. Now the lead's down to about 2 and is narrowing with every stride of dealing with Dewey, who's now a length and a quarter back. Racing third, Esquire, fourth, Sicario. Then on the inside, Run Like Hill and the Fixer. 3/4, 125-3. Treasure T trying to fend off, dealing with Dewey, and Treasure T, they're going to slug it out. Esquire third, Sicario fourth, dealing with Dewey on the outside as they turn for home. Dealing with Dewey and Treasure T on down the stretch. Rob they come, and dealing with Dewey has put away Treasure T, who was game and is going to stay for second. Dealing with Dewey wins it under wraps. Treasure T second, close for third. Esquire, Sicario 154-3. Dealing with Dewey. Just too much to deal with for Treasure T, Rob.
Yeah, he sure was, and we kind of thought that might be the case. Just too much pony for these, and a first over against a good horse, and it really didn't matter. You can see here, Gary, Jason Ryan coming to the wire, and he's got the whole world in his hands here, coming under the finish line at 54-3 with dealing with Dewey, and he's just a horse to me that he has to go up against such tough competitors at Mohawk Park. Got to be refreshing for him to kind of get against softer, competition today. And this is, the best trotters we have on this circuit, but he's been facing tougher as of late. And I just thought that he'd be too much to hold off in here, and that's exactly what he was. And good combination lately, right? Jason Ryan and Sarah Bayerjan. We've seen that with Cassius Hanover. And he's been doing good things, and now dealing with Dewey captures the preferred here.
And 54-3, a new track record, as the only trotter to go faster is the aged mare Mystical Starlight at 54-2. But pretty strong performance dealing with Dewey, sets the track record for horses and geldings.
There you go. Dealing with Dewey, that's a huge performance. It really was. And what I loved about it too is that Jason Ryan wasn't too worried about getting away with the lead. Probably knew that that would be a pretty tall task in here for dealing with Dewey from the outermost post in the contest. But he kind of had his eyes fixated on getting ahead of two horses right off the gate. You could see him, kind of accelerating off the switch, and eyes were pointed. Okay, where am I going to land? And he didn't want to get away last, right? He wanted to make sure he had a little bit of a better margin to work with, and that's where he was when he got away fourth off the switch. So love what Jason's doing lately as well. I think he's driving fantastic, and I'm sure he would say it certainly helps when he gets to drive ones like this for Sarah Bayerjon.
Yeah, the top two we thought were six dealing with Dewey and one Treasure T, and they certainly got away on the rest and then had a battle. And, well, dealing with Dewey, too much to deal with. But a winner in a track record time of 154 and 3, dealing with Dewey, 5-year-old Whelan and dealing Bay Gelding, Sarah Bayerjon, the trainer and the owner, Jason Ryan, the winning driver, fifth win this year, ninth lifetime, dealing with Dewey, 154 and 3. The third race payout, 6 dealing with Dewey, 360, 250, 280. 1 Treasured T, 260, 220, and 2 Esquire, 430. $2 exactor, 610. Dollar try, 1480. Dollar super, 32.35. The third race, order of finish from the top 2-3-5-4-6-1. That's 2-3-5-4-6-1. Field for the fourth on parade. One is Renaissance, Colin Kelly for Bruce McDonald and Stephanie Smith-Rothog. Number two is Autumn's Passion, Scott Kohler for Rafael Barassa and Martin Chouinard. Number three, Series Sealster, Jason Ryan for Ben Wallace and Terry Krawick. Four is Geminar, Nick Stewart for Larry Fitzsimmons. Number five is True That, Bo Brown for Tisha Symes and Jeffrey Webster. And number six, Handbag of Cheesies, Nick Boyd for Wilfred Perot and Joanne and Grant Kernow. Number seven was Sega, Brett McDonough for Les Posen. And number eight, No Place to Hide, Samuel Filia for Ashley Lanvoy and Thomas Knight. Field of eight, race number four. Well, Rob, it's been a bit chalky so far this evening, and this race, Series Sealster, I did think would be the 9-5 favorite. I wanted to be off the favorite. I went to 5 True That, and so did you.
Yeah, I did, and I thought that we might be dreaming to get the 4-1 in the program, but 5-2. Maybe we'll see that float up a little bit come post time. I just thought True That was a great opportunity to maybe take back some value here. August the 7th, that was Industry Day, and ended up leaving out of there, and actually came around for the lead, and then let Premier Delight go, tried to remove, and Jeff Hunt said no can do and kept on driving. So this horse ended up sitting second the rest of the way. Tried that rival again in the stretch, could never get by, but Premier Delight I thought's been racing really good as of late. So I don't mind that form reference at all. And it was 25 cents the dollar on that occasion. Since then, has competed in the Prospect Series against a solid group and had no chance getting away seventh. I doubt that Bo Brown's going to want to get away, back there again here tonight, getting back into nominators of one. And I'm thinking that we're going to see her go forward off the gate. And that line, her last time she raced in here, doesn't really tell the whole story at all. And I think that maybe we can benefit from getting some value off that.
Yeah, we're not getting the value right now, 5-2. But number three, Series Sealster, I do think is going to end up being the favorite and should likely drop from 2-1. And now there you can see True That goes to 2-1. But Series Sealster certainly has proven and has a couple of wins. The only one in this field, there's only Series Sealster with 2 wins and Geminar with 1 win, and the rest of this field is in the over column.
Yeah, they're still waiting to get that first elusive victory, and True That's 0 for 20, right? So there's that. But I do think she's the direction you want to lean tonight on the win end. Series Sealster to me, obviously a horse is going to benefit getting back to the inside of the gate. She does her best work on or near the engine. Last time got away sixth off the switch, had to finish, had to settle for fourth. Also had missed a week between starts going into that one. Now she's missed the same time frame coming into this one, but you can see she's been more than competitive in this class, and I really think that she's going to benefit from going forward off the gate tonight, which I would certainly think that's where Jason Ryan wants to be. And 5-2 on the board right now, I think that's about the right price. If not, maybe you're right. Maybe she should be 2-1, 8-5. But I kind of looked at it and thought those two are the ones that should take all the play in here, and that's the way it's kind of headed right now, Gary.
And one Renaissance is interesting because, Fashion Forward and Sweet Molly, the two that beat her last race, especially Fashion Forward, really nice one.
Yeah, and the thing about her is that she was kind of impressing us, in those efforts earlier on in the season. When she first kind of started racing here at the River, and was piling up those second place finishes, hitting the board with frequency, and against maybe some soft groups in there, and she got beat by a wide margin to Series Sealster back in June, but I thought that she was kind of turning in decent performances throughout. And then last time now, I thought that third place finish Fashion Forward is when you have to respect, especially now when she gets the pole position to work from. She had a few spots where she had difficult posts and she just was too far out of it. I think she can kind of just fall off the gate, sit a good spot tonight, and maybe get a big piece of it. 9-1, in my opinion, is an overlay, and one you have to use in the bottom end of the exotics.
Number 4, Geminar, was really impressive here 3 starts ago. And then the last 2 races, not as much, but still Geminar has flashed that ability.
she has, and yeah, that one was a determined victory, we'll call it, right? Because Rose Run Yvette was what I was fond of, and I thought she was home. I really did. Uh, Geminar was on the rim for a long way in that one. I thought she kind of got put away in the final turn before she surged again in the stretch to win by a neck. And then, since then, obviously, went a long way in the lead. Her next effort faded back to fifth, and then had to settle for a smaller share last time. But she's a horse that you can't ignore for a piece. And to be honest, I didn't think she'd be 9-1 in here.
And I'll
I
tell you,
thought she would still take support
and I'll
around three or
tell you
four to
right
one.
now, at this price with the handbag of cheesies at 8-1 and both the 3 and 5, my other two at 2-1, I think I might go there.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I mean, if you can get value, I mean, the 3 and the 5 are taking all the support, which obviously we see some inflated prices. Handbag of cheese is interesting for me. I thought raced pretty good last time to be to be fourth, and now gets to face a softer group. My problem was post six. What's the trip look like? And I kind of had her on the watch list for next time.
Well, at 8-1, I'd be willing to see what the trip is because I also thought Misty Wright, Premier Delight, and Watch My Honey Drip that finished in front of her are all very nice ones. It's Renaissance, Autumn's Passion, Series Silster on the inside, Geminar and True That in the center. Handbag of Cheesies was Sega, No Place to Hide. It's a field of 8. Race number 4. Field for the 4th. He's at the start of the rough, Autumn's Passion, Series Silster, and True That, and Handbag of Cheesies and Geminar, and Renaissance on the inside. Then was Sega, and No Place to Hide. Autumn's Passion with lead, and Series Silster continues on, and True That is racing on the outside third. It is Series Silster who's going to come on now and clear to the front. True That is going to take back now and find a seat as Autumn's Passion is second, and True That is on the inside third. Then Geminar, and is still working on the outside. Handbag of Cheesies, Renaissance on the inside. That was Sega, and No Place to Hide. Series Silter with the front, and opening quarter 28 seconds. Geminar has popped out quickly. Autumn's Passion on the inside. Handbag of Cheesies on the outside has not seen the pylons, and True That is on the inside, racing fourth right now as they race their way on towards us. It is Series Silter and Jason Ryan who's got the lead. Autumn's Passion's racing second. Geminar is working first over. True That is on the inside, though, and is third right now. Geminar on the outside fourth, and now on the inside is Handbag of Cheesies in front of Wasega, rather Renaissance, and then Wasega, and No Place to Hide. Series Silter leads on down the backstretch. Autumn's Passion is racing second, and True That is positioned third. And now there goes Autumn's Passion moving on, and on the outside following Autumn's Passion is True That, and True That on the back of Autumn's Passion. Autumn's Passion dueling with Series Silter, and now scooting through on the inside. Handbag of Cheesies come into the picture, but True That is sent out 3 wide. It is Autumn's Passion as they're reaching for the top of the stretch at 13-1, and here it comes True That. Handbag of Cheesies, Series Silter, and then was Seg on down the stretch. Rob they come, and now driving on the outside. True That on the inside. Autumn's Passion. True That on his Autumn's Passion. True That gets by Autumn's Passion. Handbag of Cheesies third, and was Sega fourth. 157 flat. True That dropped to 7-5. Rob, thought I'd get a better price, but winner Gagnon at least.
Yeah, we'll still take it, right? I thought that, I called this one kind of an opportunity to take back value off that race on Industry Day, and on that occasion, 25 cents to the dollar. So there is some taking back of the value, anyways, right? Even at that price of 7-5, didn't go off as a favorite either. That was Series Sealster, but a slick steer from Bo Brown, right? Kind of set an inside trip, slipped out second over position, and marched past the cover that he got from the two Autumn's Passion, and a horse that I thought's been racing pretty good, win in palatable spots, and maybe deserved a better fate on Industry Day when she finished second, and now she gets to the winner's circle for the first time. And what was that, her 21st career start, I think? Yeah, 21st career start.
Well, you're the mathematician. What are you asking me for? And you know who I'm going to be most impressed with and putting on my watch list out of that race? Who is it?
That one there. Oh, geez. Now I gotta think back to the
Handbag
race. I
of
was all upset with that.
cheesies.
Yeah, nice move too in the late stages. Yeah, I figured it would be. And remember what I said? I wasn't sure about tonight, but I had her on the list. The pre-watch list, we'll call it, right? one that we're gonna watch to see how they do tonight, and then we'll tab her going forward. So yes, I agree. She now graduates directly to the watch list, and I think that was a nice couple of efforts here. Now, hopefully, she can get back, in at this level, much more appealing at this level than she would be at the in between class above this. But also Autumn's Passion, right? Good effort from that one. From a strong barn, obviously Rafael Barraza. I guess you got a message from Chuck C saying that he liked this one, but we need people to put their horses they like on Chad Roseman's tweet. He was asking our viewers tonight to kind of chime in with who they like on the card. Hopefully they can do that so we can share some on the air. But he did say he liked Autumn's Passion going into that one. Kind of a heartbreaking defeat at 13-1.
And you were right to question the trip that Handbag of Cheesies would get from post six. Got parked to pass the opening quarter, about 3/8 parked. So you were right in that. 5-2-6-7 is the top four. Back in front of us, number 5. True that. 3-year-old All Bet Soft Bay filly. All Bet Jeffrey Webster, trained by Tisha Symes. The winning drive to Bo Brown. True that. Victorious 157 flat. The fourth race payouts 5. True that. 490, 330, and 282. Autumn's Passion, 12.10, $6 and 6 handbag of Cheesies, $3.80. $2 exactor, 54.80. Dollar try, 150.55. Dollar super, 1141.35. Field 4, race 5 on parade 1. Dreamfair Sunshine. Scotty Glover, Jason Libby, and John Lamers. Number 2 is DM John Wick, Colin Kelleher, Don Lindsay, and Andrea Lindsay. Number 3 is Fox Hunt, Daryl Thiessen for Terry McKibben and Paul Batter. Number 4, JJ Tommy, Samuel Filya for JF McGuire and Andre Paris. 5 is St. Lads Beat It, Anthony Hunt for Lori LePage and Rebecca Williamson. Number 6, GA Speed Sammy, Travis Henry for Courtney Bishop and Ron Nobes. 7 Sports Section, Brett McDonough for Francis Guillemette and Stefan Joffrey. 8 is Bolt Power, Jason Ryan for Mariel Anberg and Brenda Darrable. And number 9, Rose Run Vortex, Paul McKenzie for Terry Gillette and Jennifer Leaning. It's a field of 9, race number 5, featuring the Super High 5 on the final leg of the Pick 5. And, well, Rob, you're looking to get yourself a straight Pick 5 with your top pick on all 5 races. You got 4 in the bank so far. St. Lads Beat It, 5-1. I love that price.
Yeah, I love the price too, and it'd be nice to sweep through the first 5 races of the top choice. But hey, it's not easy to do. It's been chalky too, so obviously we've been on the side of the public throughout the night as well. But St. Lads Beat It was one that I thought might be able to provide value for us, and we are getting that price at 5-1 right now. And I just love the way that he's raced here at the river since coming back to this oval, and he's raced over this surface in 4 of his last 5. And each of those efforts I thought were good ones. Obviously, a victory in this class on July 24th, and since then he's had a couple of races in the top condition class. And I thought last time a solid effort to be third to Curious Cortez, who I thought raced fantastic in victory, just a length away from that one at nearly the price he is right now. But I thought he would take a little more support, so wouldn't be surprised if he maybe takes a nosedive to 3-1 or 4-1 come post time.
And number 3, Fox Hunt, is one that I could see maybe winding up being the favorite because there's some pretty favorable things in the lines there. But the one thing, though, only 1 win on the year.
This is one win in the year, but I agree with you. I thought very good morning one. And the biggest thing about Fox Hunt for me is that you get that opportunity to take back that value from 2 starts back, right? 45 cents to the dollar on that occasion on Industry Day. I thought he was overbet in this class on that occasion. He was first over a long way before finishing third. Last time, though, no chance, right? Post 7, get away 9th, closes well to finish 4th on the end of it, coming out of the same race as St. Lads Beat It and had a much more difficult trip scenario. So I think he's tremendous value right now at 9-2. I really do. I never dreamt that he'd be that price, and would be shocked if he stays there, Gary.
Of course, I mentioned just the 1 win, but a win in 50-3 racing at Mohawk, so certainly a good measuring stick. And Fox Hunt is currently 9-2 on the board. Number 2, DM John Wick, is one that, a winner here 2 starts ago, got a first win of the year, only 1 win last year, has finished runner-up a bunch of times, but maybe DM John Wick now has got things together. Last race, though, but tell me about that one.
He was spotted perfectly second over. I actually thought, we might hear from him in the stretch at 47-1, and he just couldn't go with them. That's in the top condition class, though. Now he finds happy kind of middle ground. He was a winner in the bottom condition class 2 back, and I think he needs that class relief to have a chance again. I think an overlay at 7-1 on the board. I think more so for me, he's a play underneath the exotics. I only went 2 deep in my multi legs with a 3 and the 5. That's Fox Hunt and St. Lads Beat It. But I do think that DM John Wick is one that you can't leave out of the trifecta, and especially the Super High 5.
And you mentioned it that you went 2 deep. Well, I went 3 deep, and that third one is number 4, JJ Tommy, and I'm kind of happy about it because JJ Tommy is one that's very capable. In fact, finished a second to your great Rock and Bow.
Yeah, and you're getting tremendous value right in the pick 5, $32.64 in the pick 5. He's paying more than double Fox Hunt and almost double the 5 St. Lads Beat It, but he's been hammered on the odds board, Gary, throughout. I mean, this horse is taking steady money right from the opening of the betting, 9 to 5 right now. And if you believe in following the money, this is your horse because JJ Tommy's been racing well, but that's been in softer spots. Not in my opinion. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And now getting bet down to favoritism, moving up in class. So he's the one that's taking all the support in the wagering, and that's probably a good sign for his backers.
And then how do you round out the pick five, super high five ticket?
The one Dream Fair Sunshine for me. Just love the post position. I think he needs to show a little bit more to be competitive against this group, but one that's been on my watch list for a while.
And of course, we see post one rounding up the super high five at a rather high number of times. Dreamfair Sunshine, DM John Wick and Fox Hunt on the inside. JJ Tommy St. Lads beat it in the center. And to the outside, GA Speed Savvy Sports Section, Bold Power. And the second tier, Rose Run Vortex. It's a field of 9. It's race number 5. Here they come. There at the start of the rough, DM John Wick, Fox on from the outside. Bolt Power is going to bolt home. JJ Tommy and St. Laz beat it. They drive into the first turn. DM John Wick on the inside. Fox on is digging towards the front, and Bolt Power is out third and is going to race over to the pylons. Bolt Power is in front of JJ Tommy fourth, and St. Laz beat it is still racing on the outside. Then Dream for Sunshine, Rose Run Vortex, and GA Speed Savvy, and Sports Section is trailing Fox up 9-5 on the board. Has got the lead over DM John Wick at 15-1, racing second, 27 seconds. An honest opening handle. Bolt Powers third. JJ Tommy is racing position fourth in front of St. Lad's Beat It, who found a seat to the inside in front of Dreamfair Sunshine. Rose Run Vortex is taken out now, then GA Speed Savvy and Sports Section. It is Fox Hunt and Daryl Thiessen with the lead of a 27-second opening quarter. DM John Wick rides the pocket. JJ Tommy's going to grind up first over. Bolt Powers on the inside. And St. Laz Beat It is well spotted on the back of JJ Tommy as they work into the backstretch. And then Dream for Sunshine on the pylons. And then it is back to Rose Run Vortex in Sports Section and GA Speed Savvy. It is Fox Hunt, DM John Wick as they race on to three quarters off that 56-1 halftime. JJ Tommy third, and then on the inside, Bolt Power. St. Lad's beat it, trying to get a little bit closer. Then Dreamfair Sunshine and Rose Run Vortex in Sports Section and GA Speed Sammy, but Foxon is getting away. Three quarters, 123-4. Foxon, DM John Wick and Bolt Power third. Then JJ Tommy, St. Lad's beat it, they turn for home. Foxon on down the stretch route they come, and Fox Hunt continues on, and Fox Hunt is gonna win. Bold Power second, then DM John Wick Dream for Sunshine and Sports Section 152-4 Fox Hunt. My, that was impressive.
It sure was impressive. And you know what, Gary? That's the difference, though, right? Post 7 last time, no chance from there. Gets away ninth off the gate. Now a paddleable post from the 3-hole right to the lead and set hot for actions throughout. That's what this horse is capable of, right? And two back on Industry Day kind of got the short end of it with a difficult journey. First over a long way before having to settle for third. Tonight took matters into his own hands. Right on down the road for Daryl Thiessen and a much the best winner. But you know who I'm going to say is on the watch list? I know it caught your attention too. Monstrous effort from Post 8 by Bolt Power.
Bolt Power at 21-1. In fact, this high five, despite Fox Hunt, who was well backed, you get Bolt Power. Then also you have DM John Wick at 15-1. Dream for Sunshine at 21-1. And then Sports Section at 40-1. Ka-ching.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. No doubt about it. And Bolt Power, I mean, a horse that, kind of rocketed from the outside of the gate, tried to ambush them all. Couldn't obviously get the better of Fox Hunt or DM John Wick, who had that inside advantage, but did get down into the 3-hole. And you think at that point, probably going to see a horse that's pretty tired on the end of it. Oh, no. He was really closing with intent. That was beyond impressive. And you're right. Look at those numbers. I mean, we're going to see a monstrous high five here, I think. If you're a lucky ticket holder, it should be a good payout. Or who knows, maybe even with the favorite winning, could we possibly see a carryover? You never know, I guess, right, Gary?
Yeah, and at least the favorite is 9-5. We're not talking 4-5 or even money.
Yeah, no, not at all. And DM John Wick, a horse like I said, he's been kind of getting better start by start, kind of finding that middle ground tonight, and the class ladder certainly helped his chances. Had a good trip, but did stick around for a solid third.
Well, Fox on doubles his win total. We commented only one win. Now it's two, and that win was 50-3 at Mohawk, but a pretty impressive win here. 52-4 at Grand River Raceway. 38217 is the top five, and Fox Hunt is back in front of us. A 4-year-old Huntsville Bay gelding, owned by Paul Batter, trained by Terry McKibben. Daryl Thiessen, the winning driver. Fox Hunt's second win this year, sixth lifetime. 152-4. The fifth race payouts: 3 Fox Hunt, 570, 370, 290, 8 Bolt Power, 1460, 542, DM John Wick, 540. The exactor of 3 and 8 is 107.80. I should mention the high five carryover, 3,290.39. Dollar try, 515.45. Dollar pick 3, 3 of 3, 13.30. Dollar win 4, 38.90. And the pick 5, 74.55.
Fox Hunt getting the job done in race number 5 as the favorite, but still sparking a carryover of nearly $3,300 into the super high 5 in our finale tonight. So you want to start also thinking about that wager. Is going to be a fantastic betting opportunity for you. But now let's just take a look at the late pick 5 getting started right here in race number 6. Low takeout 15%. And yowie wowie, look at that moon. Wow. Beautiful shot there, the moon. You know how much I love the Aurora sky, folks. Beautiful shot of the moon there. We saw the sunset earlier. Amazing things always in the Aurora sky here. For me in this late pick 5 sequence, 1-3-5 for me in the opening leg here. I thought this was a tough race. Just 6 of them going postward, but very competitive looking bunch here, and the odds board kind of reflects that. 1-3-5 for me here in the opener. I'm not going to try to beat the 2 Fear the Crush in race number 7. She gets back here to Grand River where she's won 3 in a row. She then carried that confidence to Mohawk Park, winning a nominals at 2 in mid-July. Since then, has not been able to pick up a check over that bigger surface. Now getting back here to the river, she was so good in those efforts. I'm going to hope she finds her winning ways tonight and single her up in race number 7. Race 8, the 1, 4, 6, and 7. This race always kind of gives me fits. That condition $7,000 claimer. So we're using more than half the field with the 1, 4, 6, and 7. I did make the dog in the fight, the 6, my top choice. Race 9, the 3, 4, and 6. I'm leaving Sintra off the ticket, putting Don't Poke the Dragon on top in there, using Ideal Perception as well as the 6 Artie's Ideal. I think he might be a bit of an overlay from the outside post there. But I might play some tickets singling Don't Poke the Dragon as well. I thought it was a real nice effort last time winning at Georgian Downs. This race just shapes up nicely for him. Might sit a 2-hole trip or something like that and get the job done. So 3, 4, and 6 for me in race 9. Strong looking preferred pace event. And then the 10th race, just the 5 and 9. So Fashion Forward seems to be back at the top of her game. She is facing tougher, but Premier Delight. I mean, wow. She's been so sharp lately, trailing post to work from. Got beat a nose last time, had no right to get beat by a nose. She should have, tired and got beat by margin, and there with the trip she went. For me, I've got her on top. Might even single her on some tickets in there. But the way I've mapped that ticket out for you on the screen right there, $14.40 for a 20-cent wager. And I think it's a real nice sequence, for wagering purposes and just racing, as well as some competitive races here on the rest of the program at the river. So looking forward to it. But you've got a minute to map out your winning wagers for the late pick 5. Again, the takeout's always so low, 15%. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes to take a closer look at race number 6.
Field for the 6th race on parade. One Rock and Bow, Paul McKenzie for Catherine Flanagan at Winters Racing. And number 2, Party in the Shadows, Scott Calder for Raphael Barassa and Francois Morin. And number 3, He's a Handyman, Mike Horner for Mark Horner. And number 4 up, Joey's Credit, Colin Kelly for Jacob Roberts and James Woods. 5 Curious Cortez, Brett McDonough for Richard Moreau and Brandon Giroux. And number 6, Bugsy McGuire. Garrett Rooney for Rachel Andrew and Austin Sorey. It's a field of 6, race number 6. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, we'll start with number 5, Curious Cortez. And, well, we've seen that you're easily amazed with shots of the skyline, but I'll bet you were quite amazed with that August 14th start from post 8 and a win by Curious Cortez here.
Yeah, I thought that it was, and I don't think I was easily amazed. I thought that it takes quite a bit to amaze me with those skyline shots, but it's okay. Curious Cortez is one, Gary. You know what? I was very impressed with the victory last time, and not that I was doubting this horse. Well, I was because I didn't pick him, but I thought he won a big trip to be victorious against a real solid group at this level. And before that, went probably an even bigger trip from post 8, parked pretty much the entire mile first over, and still prevailed by a head at 15-1. So he's a horse that you almost say like it's hard to go against him because he's kind of overcome a couple of difficult trips. One obviously on the edge and against a solid group. The other one where he probably had no right to win against softer, and he should be bringing with confidence right now for top trainer Richard Moreau. So I couldn't really go against him on the win end, but then I still had to kind of think about what's the trip look like tonight for him. He's proven he can do it either way. And if he gets to the lead off the gate, I think he's very dangerous. But I did opt to use a few in here in a competitive looking field of 6.
Well, and I'll tell you something that amazed me was one Rock and Bow. You were loyal to that horse in last race. I didn't think Rock and Bow would win there, and you were right. You got the last laugh at about $17, and now an inside post position. And Paul McKenzie 5-1.
Yeah, much tougher spot, like much tougher, right? But if you remember, I said going into that what I was waiting for the day that Rock and Bow would get a favorable trip, and that was the day when it happened, right? He sat a 2-hole trip, and then when the horse on the outside kind of got even with the leader, he kind of slipped out, and then got to attack that one with a kind of one burst style, and he won with ease. And I talked to Pat Hooton afterwards, and he said, you know what, he's got a real nice brush. Like he said, I think he's a real nice horse, and obviously I thought that for some time because I've been chasing him forever. As you said, maybe I could finally get out on him. And we did okay last time. Might still owe me a little bit of money, but we're getting there with Rock and Bow. And I think that this is not out of his range tonight, even though he's stepping up in class. And he's probably the value horse right now at 5-1 because now that he's done that, if he can replicate that effort last time, I think he'll be tough to beat again. And I'm okay to stay in his corner in the multi legs, but I don't have on top tonight. So I guess that would be hard to take, but hey, we'll certainly take a win in the multi legs at 5-1.
Another thing that shouldn't amaze me is that you went to 3 Hayes, a handyman, next because you've been kind of in love with him and he's rewarded you.
Yeah, I do have my horses that I'm in love with, don't I? He's a handyman is one of those. That there. I will say there's a list. Like you've got your list of Gary Guy that might not be the best list to be on. I guess I have one of those too, but I also have the list of horses that I seem to pick all the time, and he's a handyman's one of them. But it's for good reason. I mean, first of all, he won 8 of 33 last year, so you usually end up in the block on one that's going to do that. But this year as well, I thought that he's had a lot of tough spots, racing against a lot of tough horses, and then just recently was able to kind of work his way back to classes where he can kind of be competitive again. That win, at Kawartha Downs obviously was a good one, and then he beat a good group on Isra at a good price of 7-1 last time. Kind of had no chance the way it panned out at this level, but this is a more palatable group, and more importantly, it's a better post to work from, and a compact field's only going to help his chances. So 5-1 is probably about the right price, and you're right, he's a horse I always kind of get behind.
And I want to get to 2 Party in the Shadows because I can't believe you left this one off your top 3. I think it's between Party in the Shadows and Curious Cortez.
It might be, but he's been a polarizing horse for me. I seem to always guess wrong on him, and maybe that's going to be the case again tonight. He's 4-1 right now. You're probably getting value on a horse that I thought was going to take money, and I was kind of being maybe a bit slick going against him. But for me, yeah, just the bottom end of the try and super.
Sounds like he's one that got on your list. Rock and
Might have.
Bow and go ahead. We'll see if he's on the list after this race. Rock and Bow and Party in the Shadows. In the center, he's a handyman it up Joey's credit. To the outside, Curious Cortez and Bugsy McGuire. Field of 6. Race number 6. Here they come. Giddy up. Field for the 6th race. At the start of the rough, he's a handyman, Rock and Bow, Party in the Shadows, up Joey's credit, and Curious Cortez. And then it is Bugsy McGuire. He's a handyman, is handy early, and is going to come right out and grab the lead. Rock and Bow second. Curious Cortez still traveling 3 wide. On the inside, Party in the Shadows. Then up Joey's credit and Bugsy McGuire. He's a handyman. Curious Cortez continues to drive on the outside, and it is Brett McDonald, and Curious Cortez is going to come on now and clear to the lead. 27-1 opening quarter. He's a handyman at second. Rock and Bow is rocking the 3rd spot in front of Party in the Shadows. Then up Joey's credit and Bugsy McGuire, Curious Cortez, even money on the board as they roll their way towards us. He's a handyman at second. Rock and Bow is racing on the inside 3rd as they race their way on towards us. And now there goes Party in the Shadows, who's going to Party first over, giving cover to up Joey's credit. And Bugsy McGuire, 3 to the inside, 3 to the outside, 56 and 3 halftime. And it is Curious Cortez who's got a lead over He's a Handyman. Party in the Shadows is working up on the outside first over, but has work to do to catch a strong Curious Cortez, who's got a lead of 2 1/4. Curious Cortez, Party in the Shadows on the outside, trying to grab second and take it from He's a Handyman. And then it is up Joey's credit and Rock and Bow. And then it is Bugsy McGuire. And it is Curious Cortez, Party in the Shadows, trying to party a little closer. But Curious Cortez and Brett McDonald still sitting rather chilly in the bike. And there's some taps now. And on the outside, Party in the Shadows, He's a Handyman. Up Joey's credit. And then it is Bugsy McGuire and Rock and Bow. They turn on down the stretch drive. Curious Cortez and Party in the Shadows. Party in the Shadows getting closer, but Curious Cortez on the inside has dug in and turned back Party in the Shadows. And then Bugsy McGuire and He's a Handyman. 154 and 1. Curious Cortez, even money in the board, and certainly caught our attention 3 starts ago, winning from post 8, and now has 3 consecutive wins.
Yeah, the hat trick for Curious Cortez, and you know what? That's another impressive victory, Gary. He had to fight a long way to get to that lead, and it wasn't like they were not going much either. I mean, 27-1, 56-3, 125. He set legit fractions to the middle panels after fighting his way to the front, and then has to fend off a determined Party in the Shadows, and probably a horse that maybe I should give a little more credit to. I had him picked for 4th, didn't use my multi-leg wagers, but one that I'll certainly take note of next time. Now he'll make the other list for me because that was a solid effort first over. The other horse that's going to stay right in his rightful place in my good books is the one Rock and Bow. Never really had much of a chance in there and did finish with some pace. Again, he's a horse I'll always be willing to come back to if he's in the right kind of spot.
And He's a Handyman is so handy off the gate that I can see why you like that one so much, and raced pretty credibly in there.
Yeah, he's shown versatility as of late because he's always, in my mind, was a horse that has to race off a helmet or race from the back of the bus. And lately, he's been one that when he gets a good post, he can go out and get a good spot early. Didn't work, out for the victory today, but did end up landing on the bottom of the trifecta behind a couple of horses that turned in big performances. So I think that Mike Corner is going to be happy with that effort.
It is a 5-2-3-6. Curious Cortez was sharp in race number 6 in victory. And coming back in front of us is number 5, Curious Cortez, 7-year-old Big Jim Brown gelding by Brandon Giroux. Richard Moreau is the trainer. Brett McDonald, the winning driver. It's the 7th win this year, 24th lifetime. Curious Cortez, 154 and 1. 3rd win in a row. The sixth race payouts: 5 Curious Cortez, $4 to 52.10. 2 Party in the Shadows to 92.53. He's a Handyman, 330. $2 exact rate 30. Dollar Try 18.15. Dollar Super 33.80. 6th race order finish from the top: 523-614. That's 523-614.
Curious Cortez now with 3 victories in a row for the combination of Brett McDonald and Richard Moreau. Congrats to the connections of that one, and congrats if you're still rolling in that late pick five wager. The favorite gets home in the opening leg, but now it's time for the late pick four, starting right here in race number 7. Low takeout as always, 15%. And look what you see on the screen right now, folks. Don't forget about that either. Play the super high five in race number 10. Why? Because there is a carryover of nearly $3,300. The pool's been guaranteed at $10,000. The carryover, the takeout for that wager is also just 15%. Going to be a great wagering opportunity to close out the card this evening here at the river. But in the late pick four, starting right here in race 7, I'm going to single up on the 2 Fear the Crush right now, 9-5 on the board. She's not taking the support that I thought she will eventually take. Coming off same time frame as the 3 Maple. Maple last time raced a little bit flat in her effort in the Prospect Series, but was taking on tougher foes before that. Georgian Downs and turning in some real good performances. I just couldn't go against Fear the Crush after her latest efforts here at the river. Did take on her win streak to Mohawk Park where she was a winner again. So she completed the Grand Slam before getting shut out in her last 3. I think getting back to this service might be all it takes to get her back in the win column. 8-5 on the board right now on the 2 Fear the Crush. Race number 8, 1, 4, 6, and 7. I always find this condition claimer for $7,000 claimers is a tricky one. And here I am using more than half the field again with the 1, 4, 6, and 7. That's 4 of the 7 in there. I think it's a competitive looking group. I do give the edge to the 6, the dog in the fight, but could make an argument for pretty much anyone in there. Race 9, the 3, 4, and 6. Left Sintra off my ticket at 6-5 morning line. Did think he raced really well last time. Just thought there might be better value elsewhere, and Don't Poke the Dragon gets my call on top. But Ideal Perception loves it here at the river. And Artie's Ideal, I thought, raced fantastic last time here in the top condition class. Now, obviously, taking on tougher in the preferred, though. And then race 10, it's going to be that super high 5 carryover race, also the money leg of this pick 4 sequence. And I think that Fashion Forward, looks like she should be tough. She was a big winner last time against Softer. But the horse that I'm intrigued by, once again, is the 9 Premier Delight. Really, really tough trip last time. Somehow still got within her nose of Miss Do Right. And I'm loving her chances in the finale. $4.80 is the cost of my ticket. But does Gary Guy have something for us?
I want to squeeze in a quick one here. I'll pay the same $4.80, and I'll go the 2 and 3, add Maple in, just because all those good races at Georgian Downs, I expect a big bounce back. So the 2 and 3. In race number 8, just Malvolio and the dog in the fight. I'll just go a couple there, 1 and 6. Race number 9, give me Don't Poke the Dragon and Sintra. I want those 2. And then in the final leg, I want the 5 Fashion Forward and 9 Premier Delight, but I also want to try to get a price one in there. Watch My Honey Drip. You've been sitting on that one. Maybe here, but the logical ones are the 5 and 9. $4.80.
There you go, Gary's ticket. So we see it kind of similarly throughout, except he's using Sintra. I'm not. And of course, he's going to add in Watch My Honey Drip, one that I do agree, has been kind of, on the cusp of maybe getting to the winner's circle, and one that I've been chasing in either on top or in the under these spots, and would likely add some value to that pick 5 ticket. And of course, that super high 5, which does have that carryover of nearly $3,300 and the guaranteed pool of $10,000 in that finale. So don't forget about that when they're coming on the track for race number 7. We'll be back in just a moment. Take a closer look at the upcoming dash.
Field for the 7th on parade. 1 Lola's Sunshine, Lauren Hauser, Scott McNiven, and Thomas Broadhurst, and Donald Douglas, and Bradley McNiven. Number 2 is Fear the Crush, Scott Quiller, Alan Shelton. Number 3, Maple, Travis Henry for Isaac Waxman and Louis Wan, Michelle Etart, and John Allaire. 4 is Oguda, It is Mike Horner for Mark Horner and RAW Equine. 5 is scratched. Number 6, Dial Me Up. Colin Kelly for Jacob Roberts and Steve Adams. Number 7 is Queen of Soul, Anthony Hunt for McCrone and Hunt Racing. Number 8 is Steel Beauty, Brett McDonough for Tim Myers and David O'Macaulay. Field of 7 race number 7 starts the pick 4. And one quick note also, Rob is in race 8, 2 claims in on number 6, the dog in the fight. So that strengthens your thoughts probably on your top pick there in the 8th. But first up, race number 7, number 2, Fear the Crush. Definitely one to fear despite those last 3 races at Mohawk. We've seen this one here be so impressive.
Oh yeah, we have. I mean, and she was. I would say, that little win streak she put together here. Probably, listen, we've seen some big win streaks. Tijuana, Sealster, St. Less Criminal, but when you looked at some of those efforts, how easy it was and how improbable it would look at times, you could say that that win streak was one of the most impressive ones we've seen. And then she went on to Mohawk Park, and she upset them at over 8-1 after doing that, and obviously a race where she got to chase some speed in the early going. But certainly was every bit as good as she was in those previous efforts here, where it didn't matter where she got away, Gary. She just always came out on top and did so by margin too. Last 3, obviously facing some pretty tough horses. I don't really read too much into those defeats, and I think that all she needs maybe to get back here, to get back to the winner's circle. Love the draw for her. Also like the fact she gets reunited with Scott Coulter. They get along well together.
Yeah, and one thing to note, those last 2 races, they didn't go as much up front early. You look at that one that she won. They went a big up front mile, 53 and 4,
Yeah.
and she comes flying.
Yeah, she did. That's true. That was the start that she had that pace to chase. She has not had that in her most recent ones, and I don't know if she necessarily needs that kind of those fractions to run it tonight, because she wasn't getting them in the victory she had here previously. And from post 2, I don't think she's going to get away last off the gate. She should probably be up into the flow, I would think, pretty early in this one.
Oh, Gouda's your second choice, and certainly off that last race, you got to really look closely at this one, and also 8 wins on the year.
Yeah, and it was a Robert off angle last time. I love Oguda. Been in her corner many times, including at the raceway at Western Fair, and she's a horse that I've been waiting to see her get back to the lead like that. We saw that at a prospect series here at Grand River back in early June. She got picked up by the end of it. Well, last time there was no picking her up. She was really out there, loving her work and feeling good about herself. She held a comfortable margin throughout, and scored the upset at over 6-1. I don't think this group's out of her range at all. 3-1 is probably about the right price, and just kind of depends on the trip scenario. And I think she's got to go forward off the gate again.
Number 3, Maple. I had to include this one in a pick 4 ticket because prior to that last race here in the Prospect Series, just so outstanding at Georgian and in with some solid company.
Yeah, and you can take back some value on her, right? That's the thing with her. 75 cents to the dollar last time. I thought it was kind of a flat effort. I'll be honest, like, really didn't get near Oguda at any point. Tried to, ended up getting beat a pretty wide margin back from her in third. But if you believe in a rebound here, then you're going to get paid, because was sub even money that occasion, 5-2 tonight, and races for a top barn, right? Isaac Waxman's numbers this year are outstanding, and I certainly wouldn't be surprised to see her bounce right back. I had a hard time putting her ahead of Fear the Crush, but she was kind of neck and neck for me for the second spot with Oguda.
And despite the outside post, neither of us wanted to leave Steel Beauty off the ticket because, well, look at that last race.
Yeah, it was a good effort last time. Storybook Bella was one that got bet off the board, as she should have, because she's been racing so good here at the river as of late. She's a back-to-back winner, and this one's kind of had to work from tricky posts against that one, and race respectably in defeat, 4th 2 back. Last time, she got beat by a bit of a margin, almost 4 lengths, but was second best in there, and got up, fought kind of tenaciously to get that second spot on the end of it. The problem I had was post 8. Now obviously it gets a bit better, moving in a spot to post 7, and I think it all comes down to trip. If she can work out a decent trip, she should be able to land somewhere underneath the exotics.
Dial Me Up is one that's 18-1 on the board. Colin Kelly for Jacob Roberts. Good connections, but Well, I don't know what to make of this horse. Of course, we haven't seen this one.
Yeah, I can kind of get there on the first time Jacob Roberts angle, right? Because we've seen a lot of horses race tremendous, going to his barn. I think just price alone, worth throwing in the bottom end of the try and the super, and maybe watching for next time.
Yeah, that price is 18 to 1. Well, we're not getting a price on To Fear the Crush, nor did we expect one. 8 to 5 on the board. It's Lola Sunshine, Fear the Crush on the inside. Mabel, Oguda, Dial Me Up in the center of the outside. Queen of Soul and Steel Beauty. Field of 7. Race number 7 on a Monday night at the river. Here they come. Giddy up. And the field for the 7th race. Gathering speed approaching the start. There at the start of the rough, Gouda will get out strongly. Lola's Sunshine, Maple, then it is Queen of Soul on the inside. Fear the Crush. Then it is back to Dial Me Up, and Steel Beauty is trailing the field. It is Oguda who's got the lead right now. Lola's Sunshine is racing second. Maple third. Fear the Crush is in mid-pack fourth, and then Queen of Soul and Dial Me Up, and Steel Beauty is trailing the field. Oguda at 5 to 1's got the lead for Mike Horner, and racing second, Lola's Sunshine, and third, Maple. Fear the Crush racing fourth, 28 and 1 opening quarter. Queen of Soul is fifth, Dial Me Up is sixth, and racing seven, Steel Beauty. They work their way on around the turn, and it is Gouda. That lead right now is about a length and 3/4 over Lola's Sunshine, with Maple on the inside third, and Fear the Crush and Scotty Coulter is racing position to fourth right now as they work their way on past us and popping out from third. There goes Maple now to go first over, and Fear the Crush will follow Maple to the outside. Then it is Queen of Soul and Steel Beauty and Dial Me Up, and they race into the back stretch off a half of 58, and it is Gouda, Maple, first over, getting some urging, and on the inside, Lola's Sunshine, and Fear the Crush is on the back of Maple. It is still Gouda, Lola's Sunshine is still in the pocket. Maple trying to come forward. Now he's moved up, and now he's rolling, and then on the outside, Fear the Crush is on the back of Maple, as Maple now is on even terms with Gouda, but Gouda drives on the inside, and has recaptured a lead of about a length, and there goes Fear the Crush now, and it is Gouda and Fear the Crush. Maple backs away to the inside. Lola's Sunshine, they turn for home, and Fear the Crush and Gouda as they come on down the stretch by. Fear the Crush on the outside. We've seen this movie before. Just rolls on by under wraps with Scotty Coulter driving. Lola's Sunshine, then Gouda and Queen of Soul. 155 and 4. Fear the Crush loves it here.
Yeah, she sure does. You could kind of just see she's like, oh, I remember this place. It was yeah, that's what we remember from Fear the Crush, right? Is a horse that can kind of race off a helmet, and tonight it worked out perfect for her because she ends up on the cover of Maple, who was kind of toiling on the outside, then came forward and then started getting tired again. It looked like, but she certainly did the trick for Fear the Crush because she put her in a perfect spot second over, and Scott Coulter didn't have to call on her too much before she just paces right on past them and opens up margin before the wire. I mean, this is what we saw from her in all those victories. Wasn't maybe as flashy as some of them were, but I think we might see her start a new win streak here at the River.
Yeah, and she got away fourth, which you didn't think she'd get away as far back, but it set up beautifully. And then Scotty was just patient, and it kind of came to him. But as soon as Maple looked like, okay, that's enough for Maple, well, then I better get rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he moved at the right time, and Oguda was a horse that obviously got used a little bit early, then in that third quarter, so it was kind of an opportunistic right rally from Fear the Crush. But hey, listen, she looked like she might be on her way to doing what she did in that last win streak here, which was incredible. So I'd love to see it because those were some real fun, starts watching her do her thing from off the pace this time. Like I said, it wasn't going to be probably too far off the pace, but we'll see what she does next time out.
We all tried to get the exactor. Well, we all were wrong because Lola Sunshine inside 16 to 1.
Yeah, good trip for that one. Right inside speed. who probably should have saw that one coming to be the trip horse in there. That's what she was in the end, and ends up getting second. And with these horses underneath and Maple missing the ticket, might see some decent exotics off a 3 to 5 shot.
It's a 2-1-4-7 top four. Coming back in front of us is number 2, Fear of the Crush, a 3-year-old Fear the Dragon Bay filly, owned and trained by Alan Shelton. It's the 5th win this year. 8th lifetime. Fear the Crush, the winning drive to the 10 Tornadoes, Scotty Coulter. The 7th race pounds to Fear the Crush, 320, 290, 260. 1 Lola's Sunshine, 870, 430, and 4 Oguda, $3. $2 exactor, 17.50. Dollar try, 33.20. Dollar super, 191.75. The seventh race order of finish from the top 2173 scratch 645. That's 2173 scratch 645. Field on parade for the eighth, one Malvolio, Travis Henry for Joe Pereira and James Barry. Number 2 is 2 for tripping, Brent Madonna for Yvette Gallant and Ivan Gallant. 3 is Prince Adaran, Scotty Kohler for Tom Genoa and Barbara Bryan. And 4 is Bohannon, Paul McKenzie for Terry Gallant and Calvin Kepfer. Number 5 is Silverback Jack, Colin Kelly for Brett Lester and Marissa Wilson. Number 6 is The Dog in the Fight, Jason Ryan for Gary Lee. 2 claims entered. And number 7 is Better Than Cash, Samuel Fillion for Gerard Demers and Gary Bickford and Dwayne Solaire. Field of 7, race number 8. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, 2 claims are in, The Dog in the Fight, and this is the one that you've thrown on the top of your ticket. And Jason Ryan driving and already has a win on the evening. The Dog in the Fight at Kawartha from the trailer post last race picked up a second. Not a bad effort.
Yeah, not a bad effort at all, Gary, and a horse that right now, I mean, this price is a good one, right at 7 to 1. I'm not sure it stays there, but if you go back beyond that, I mean, those claiming races, I mean, are all claiming handicap events, open claiming handicap events. The recent efforts, anyways, before his latest, and that's obviously going to be against tougher horses. I mean, you see lines against, Beef and Cheddar, Clever Character. Our Thinking Monster, Redneck Jim, Devil's Peak. These are all horses that would be bet down heavily in here and probably be able to go out there and secure a pretty easy victory. Was racing at condition clearance before that, getting decent pieces, and obviously, like you said, in his latest finished second with a solid effort at Kawartha Downs. Now racing back under the care of Jason as a trainer as well in this effort, and he also owns part of this one. So he'll be bidding adieu to the Dog in the Fight after the race tonight, but I think you might be able to get a victory with him on the way out. And 8 to 1 is certainly a giant size price right now.
Well, certainly 8 to 1 has got me barking at that one. Look, 4 to 5 on one Malvolio. I don't want 4 to 5. I do think Malvolio can be the one to beat, but still, I mean, last race I thought that he had the win, and then Kobe Bryant got by.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't doubt the Lakers. Just kind of kept on going for the victory, and Malvolio was a good second. But you said we've seen this movie before. In the last race when we got to see Fear the Crush getting back to the winner's circle. We've seen it before in Malvolio as well, right? Because he got bet out of favoritism last time he had to settle for second. He got bet off the board 3 starts ago in this class, and he gutted out a victory. It was by the slimmest of margins, really kind of life or death to hang on in the end, but it was a solid effort, to fight off a challenger late. And he's getting bet off the board again, tonight. He gets to work from that pole position again. He's been, lucky to get some good posts in this class as of late, and I understand the support was going to come from him. I wasn't sure he'd be even money. I thought, this field always kind of looks competitive, but I guess when you figure he's been no worse than second in his last 2 tries at this level, he's got to take support. That's why he's even money. I couldn't put him on top. Do have him pegged for second, and I think the play is to kind of look for value to beat him. But would I be surprised if he won? Absolutely not.
Well, one place where that value might be is number 4 Bohannon, because improving form and came close last time out.
Yeah, Bohannon only missed by a neck last time as the odds-on favorite, and this is one that I remember even trying in the open claimer 7 claimer here August 4th, ended up finishing fourth. The start before that was the one that really intrigued me because kind of surrounded by horses late, nowhere to go. Appeared to have all kinds of pace on the end of that mile at Georgian Downs August 1st. Then obviously came back on just a couple days rest to kind of just race, okay, to finish fourth to Joe King. So I thought Bohannon kind of looked intriguing in here at a price, and we're seeing that right now at 8 to 1. I don't think this race is out of his reach, and wouldn't be surprised to see him notch a victory. It would be a nice knockout in the multi-leg wagers.
Number 7, Better Than Cash, 2 races ago. That's a really good measuring stick. Clever Character and High Flying Jamie were the only two that got better than him.
Yeah, you know what? Good form references for better than cash. The thing I hate, of course, is the post position. Not sure how he gets into the race tonight. Think he's more than capable of going with these. Just comes down to trip scenario.
And that price right now is 5-1 on the outside. It's Malvolio at 6-5 is the favorite, taking up position with 2 for tripping. In the center, Prince Adoran Bohannon and Silverback Jack to the outside. The dog in the fight, and better than cash. It's a field of 7. It is race number 8, and it is post time. Here they come. The field for race number 8 in the stretch. There at the start of the round, Prince Adoran's going to bolt out with Malvolio to the inside, and better than cash on the outside will drive. Then Bohannon and Silverback Jack. Then it is back to 2 for tripping. The dog in the fight is now second from last. Is 2 for tripping. He is back trailing the field. Prince Adoran's got the lead. Still driving 3 wide. Better than cash. 2 wide path is Bohannon. Malvolio's in behind that wall of 3 as they race on to the opening quarter. Better than cash and Sammy Filia is going to come on at 10-1 and clear to the front. Bohannon's racing second. Prince Adoran third. Malvolio mid-pack fourth. Then Silverback Jack, the dog in the fight, and 2 for tripping. And they race around the turn. Better than cash leads it. Bohannon is racing second. There comes Malvolio now on the move. And Prince Adoran's on the inside. Silverback Jack has followed Malvolio out. And also moving on the outside, the dog in the fight. And then it is 2 for tripping. 27-3 opening quarter. Better than cash with Malvolio looking to pounce. 57-4 halftime at 30-1 second panel breather. And on into the backstretch they go. And it is better than cash. Malvolio. Bohannon third on the inside. Silverback Jack is spotted second over fourth. Fifth to the inside is Prince Adoran. The dog in the fight has one beaten right now, and that is 2 for tripping. And it is better than cash. Better than cash. Malvolio. There goes Silverback Jack now, settled 3 wide as they race the way on towards 3/4 and getting some urging. Bohannon on the inside. The dog in the fight is getting up a little bit closer, but Silverback Jack is about to grab the lead and take it from better than cash. Malvolio is weakening. Bohannon on the inside, and the dog in the fight on the outside. They turn for home. Silverback Jack and better than cash, and the dog in the fight. And center of the track, Bohannon on down the stretch drive they come, and it is Silverback Jack. Silverback Jack is going to come back for a picture. Bohannon, then better than cash, and the dog in the fight. Silverback Jack at 5-1. Really didn't have all that impressive lines coming into this race, although that last race at least was a lot closer, beaten 2 1/4 Rob.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I couldn't get there on Silverback Jack. I just hadn't seen enough from him as of late to put him on top in here. But look, these are condition claimers, right? And we know week to week that there's a lot of things that can happen in these races, and some horses maybe can't take too much adversity, and kind of saw that tonight. I mean, Malvolio's been racing really well in here. But he got bet off the board again, and we both agreed. You had to kind of go shopping elsewhere. He ends up first over a long way at 3-5, ends up fading out of it, kind of opens the door. And the problem for me, Gary, the horses that I used as the potential knockout horses end up finishing second, third, and fourth. Just because Silverback Jack kind of got the trip, right? Ended up on the helmet of Malvolio, moved at the right time. The leader had kind of got, a little bit, taxed early on. Better than cash, tried that big move to get to the lead from way out there in post 7, and was used hard in the middle stages as well. So opportunistic Silverback Jack ends up getting his first victory of the season in his 25th start, and it's just his second victory over the last 2 seasons, 51 starts. So for me, hard to get this one down as the winner in here, but obviously solid connections, Brett Lester and Colin Kelly.
That is the deal, the connections, but still, as you said, you couldn't get there. I don't think a lot of people could. I was surprised 5-1 because 1 for 50 just does not make you take this one on top.
No, and I'll be honest, I kind of was looking at the price afterwards. I don't have this one on my ticket, so I wasn't sure what he went off at. And I saw 5-1. Wow, he ends up being, just a shade above the second choice in the race, right? Who was the dog in the fight? But hey, listen, gets back to the winner's circle tonight. Maybe that's going to spark some confidence going forward to for Silverback Jack.
Back in front of us is Silverback Jack, a gray, a 4-year-old better than Cheddar Gelding, owned by Marissa Wilson of Elmira. Brett Lester, the trainer. Colin Kelly, the winning driver. First win this year, second lifetime. Silverback Jack, 156-4. Eighth race, pouch 5, Silverback Jack. 1360, 610, $4 for Bohannon. 850 and 577, better than cash, 550. $2 exactor is 72.80. Dollar try, 335.30. Dollar super, 866.05. Eighth race order finish from the top, so 5762143. That's 5762143. And the claim, number 6, the dog in the fight. The new trainer will be Jared Mann. Field on parade for the ninth one. Let's tie one on. Ryan DeRoche for Jody Cullen and Paul Sanders. Number 2, Sintra, Brett McDonough for Harry Polton and the stable. And number 3, Don't Poke the Dragon, Travis Henry for Jody Cullen and Paul Sanders and JJJ Stables. For Ideal Perception, Anthony Hahn for Anthony Beaton and SSG Stables. 5, Desperate Man, Garrett Rooney for Kathy Chikeen and John Chikeen and Paul Davies. And number 6, Artie's Ideal, Samuel Filion for Robert Kyle Fellows and Hunt Racing. Field of 6, race number 9. And Rob, you might have heard at the start of the post parade, I had to turn the page back because I was looking at race 10 with that carryover, and it's a really interesting handicapping race. But race 9 is very interesting as well, and a lot of talent.
Yeah, it's loaded with talent, Gary. This preferred two on the pace, and you know it's one of those races where you can make a case that any horse in here can get the job done. And a little bit surprised in the direction of the odds board at this point, but for me, I'm going with the 3. Don't Poke the Dragon. I thought the effort last time at Georgian Downs was a real good one. Easy victory, on the engine at 25 cents to the dollar. And before that, raced against a pretty solid group at Mohawk Park. Never had a chance after getting away eighth, and even was a winner 3 starts ago against a solid group at Georgian as well. So I just think that he might have a post edge on some of the big time players in here. Probably going forward off the gate, might even get covered up by one like Ideal Perception if that one blasts off. So I like Don't Poke the Dragon 5-2 right now, hoping that price maybe goes up a touch or two come post time.
Well, and that's who I'm on. And of course, my bias is often to the ones that I see in front of me. And of course, I announced those 2 wins at Georgian Downs, and he was every bit the best in there. Look, 5-2, I think we could get somewhere around there because there's some fine talent. Artie's Ideal, 19-1. I'll tell you, I'd take a flyer at 19-1 if I could freeze the odds right now.
Yeah, the price is kind of wild, right? Because at the end of the day, um, this horse was fantastic two back right here in the top condition class. I thought that he went against a pretty, decent enough group on that occasion, but he's not too far removed, from only getting beaten 3/4 of length to Lawless Shadow, in a preferred two here at Grand River. And then since then, had to race against, middle condition type horses at Mohawk Park before coming back here. I just thought that, the 6-1 morning line, I'll be honest, I thought maybe was a bit generous, and he's 21-1 on the board right now. I don't think he's out of this by any stretch. And I'd say, off that win here last time and that second place finish back in June, you could say that, he's probably had some of the, better performances over this surface than some horses in this field. Not named Ideal Perception anyways. So I think that Artie's Ideal is value right now. The price is getting a little bit lower the more we talk about him, but 15-1 is still a bargain.
And Artie's Ideal's last start at Georgian blasted from post 8, 26-2 opening quarter, came flying out of there and got parked. It wasn't easy, and then ended up being second and eventually tailing, but didn't tail till late.
No, and you got bet down to favoritism in there too, right? Against a decent enough group. This is obviously tougher. I just think that this is not a field that's out of his reach if he gets the right kind of trip and can race at his best.
Well, there's for Ideal Perception, and we know what the right kind of trip is for him.
Oh yeah, it's to go right on down the road. Now this is a group that I think that's got to be the game plan against as well. I mean the speed rate to his left, Sintra has some early foot as well, but not the kind of gears that he has off the gate. And of course he just piles up the victories here at Grand River. The most recent victory came in a preferred on Industry Day, and it was an impressive one with James McDonald aboard. Now he gets reunited with his regular pilot, we'll say Anthony Hahn, and I think 5-1 is not a bad price on him either, on a horse that we know is just dynamite over this oval and should be real happy getting back here.
We have 2 millionaires in this field, the 2 Sintra and 5 Desperate Man. Sintra with more than Desperate Man, and we haven't touched on them yet. And boy, it's tough to leave them out of the top 3, but Sintra 5-2.
Yeah, you know what? It is tough, and I'm a fan of both horses, obviously. I just thought this looked like a place where it might be beneficial to bet against the favorites. And you know what the funny thing is? They're not taking the support I thought they would take. I thought they might be, Sintra favorite, Desperate Man second or third choice in here, and not playing out that way in the odds board. Sintra raced really well last time, closing home in 26 and 3. Thought it was a good effort. Just, not so sure that I wanted to take him in tonight against this group at a short price, but he's offering 5 to 2.
I'm still willing to settle with Don't Poke the Dragon at 5 to 2 because I thought he was really impressive. It's a field of six, race number 9. Let's tie one on. Sintra on the inside. Don't Poke the Dragon. Ideal Perception to the outside. Desperate Man. And Artie's Ideal. It's a field of six, race number 9. Field of preferred two pacers, horses and geldings. Gathering speed. Here they come. They're at the start and they're off, and Central will blast out. Ideal Perception, let's tie it on. Don't Poke the Dragon, Desperate Man, and Artie's Ideal. And the field works their way into the backstretch. Centra trying to get the better of Let's Tie It On. Ideal Perception is out 3 wide. Don't Poke the Dragon is relaxed way fourth as they are dueling 3 wide, racing to the opening quarter. Ideal Perception is on the outside, still charging. Centra now will take back, and Let's Tie It On is going to now be in the pocket. Centra's racing third, and then racing fourth now is Desperate Man, then Artie's Ideal, and Don't Poke the Dragon is back to trailing the field. Ideal Perception, Let's Tie It On, Centra, and then it is Desperate Man and Artie's Ideal, and Don't Poke the Dragon, and they race their way off the turn. They head up towards us. Ideal Perception has the lead at 4-1, and now here comes Desperate Man. Desperate Man with a huge burst of speed up the challenge. Ideal Perception. Let's Tie It On is racing third. Then it is Artie's Ideal and Sintra and Don't Poke the Dragon, and they race their way on into the backstretch. Ideal Perception, Desperate Man on the outside. They're going to go at it, and then Artie's Ideal now is moved up and is racing third. Let's Tie It On, and then Sintra, and now Desperate Man has got the lead. Desperate Man has taken the lead from Ideal Perception. Desperate Man leads by 2, and that advantage is widening out 3/4. 121 and 2, and Desperate Man is pouring it on, and Ideal Perception second. Then Artie's Ideal is third, and Centra is racing fourth. Desperate Man as they turn on down the lane, and it's just a race against the clock. And Desperate Man as they come to the finish. It'll be interesting to see how fast it is. 150 and 1. That's a new track record. Artie's Ideal, Ideal Perception, and Don't Poke the Dragon. Rob, 150 and 1 off a 26-second opening quarter. Man, they were racing, and Desperate Man, who, well, North American Cup winner, showed us why he's that.
Yeah, he said, you know what? Listen, I'm going to show you why I'm back, and obviously something going to miss. Last time broke stride here at the River, and then his latest effort, got away seventh at Mohawk Park, closed up a little bit before the wire. But tonight, he was on fire here. Obviously, track record performance gets aided by those hot fractions. They were stacked up 3 wide, Gary. It's a field of 6. They're stacked up 3 wide through the opening quarter of 26 flat, and really we're just dueling, a long way in there, 54 and 3. And then when Desperate Man came to call, though, I said, you know what, I shouldn't have doubted the champ tonight because he looks like he's feeling good about himself, and he sure was. I mean, he won by as much as he pleased, and like you said, it was a race against the clock, 150 and 1. That's a monster mile. Happy to see him back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, when you get 3/4 of 121 and 2, now all you're really interested is how fast could they go?
Yeah, exactly. And he was, sometimes you'll see miles like that where the horses that get to the front are kind of, backing away, and maybe slowing up a little bit and looking tired on the end of it. He wasn't. I mean, he was still doing good work in the late stages there and banged home pretty good. But nice to see him do it. You never think you see him at 2-1 here at the River, but you're getting that tonight after a couple of performances where I guess he let some of the backers down.
And the judges reviewing that break in stride of number 3, Don't Poke the Dragon, who landed on the top 4. But back in front of us, Desperate Man, 5-year-old shadow play, big gelding up by Kathy and John Chikeen and Nicole and Paul Davies. Kathy Chikeen is the trainer. Garrett Rooney, the winning driver. It's the third win this year, 11th lifetime. Desperate Man, 150-1. A new Grand River Raceway track record. Fans note the judge's ruling that number 3, Don't Poke the Dragon, did not violate the braking regulations. 5-4-6-3, the inquiry sign will go off. Ninth race, page 5, Desperate Man, 680 for 33.10. For Ideal Perception, 450 and 310. And 6 Artie's Ideal, 360. $2 exactor, 44.70. Dollars Prize, 65.15. Dollar Super, 200, 11.80. Ninth race, order of finish from the top down, 654-213. That's 654-213. Well, fans were less than 5 minutes to the post time for the 10th race, and this is a great betting race. So let's do a little bit of advanced handicapping. We're going to bring in Robert Reed Jr. with the guaranteed pool. This is a great race to have a guaranteed pool. We have the favorite Fashion Forward at 3-1, Rob, and the money's going to get spread out because, look, probably a couple of the best horses have drawn poorly, the 8 and the 9. And there's just a lot of different ways you could look at this. First question I have for you is just trip handicapping this. How do you see this getting off the gate?
Well, that's a good question. I thought this was one of the tougher races of the night, Gary, to figure out how it's going to shake up off the switch. I mean, I think Cheddar Rose is obviously going to push out from the pole position, but this is obviously a tougher spot, for her. Watch My Honey Drip. I've seen speed from that one in the past. Not sure if we see it from her tonight. I thought Fashion Forward has got to be one that's going to leave out of there, right from post five. Even though she moves out a bit on the gate, she is moving up in class, but we've seen her do good things off the switch. Not so much two back when she made a break in stride, but last time she was pretty steady on her feet, last thing out of there from post two. So I think she's got to leave out of there. Of course, Miss Do Right's got her early foot. She loves getting to the lead, but now the price of poker goes up even more for her from the 8 hole. Right, we've seen her do it from the 7 hole. 8 hole's a different beast here. I don't know how that can shake up for her. So I think that for me, I guess I'd look at Fashion Forward and maybe one like Cheddar Rose or Wash My Honey Drip, kind of trying to land underneath if you're trying to figure out the lineup.
Yeah, the funny thing is, yeah, it's hard to see Miss Do Right leaving from post 8, but it's also hard to see her not leaving from post 8.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's one of those ones where if you close your eyes and just picture her as a racehorse, it's hard to think that if she is, staying on her gate, how does she not get away in the top three? I just thought that it might be a tall task for her to do so from out there tonight. Might be better to you know, kind of grab leather and look for a spot and then maybe attack them later. But she surprised us before, right? Leaving in spots where you didn't think she'd go forward.
Now, one thing, basically, just looking at these horses, based on what Premier Delight did last race, I'm almost convinced now, pound for pound, she might be the best one in here. But the trailer post, she's going to be dependent on Cheddar Rose or somebody else getting in off the gate. How well can Premier Delight get away?
I think she can get away decent because I think Cheddar Rose does have enough speed to kind of leave out of there and show her the way off the gate. Plus, we always see the one land in the high five somewhere, right? But we've seen this one show speed recently. And I do agree with you. I think that Premier Delight's the best horse in the race. And I think that she's done nothing but impressive things as of late. Her last two, I thought, are actually more impressive than her two victories, especially her latest. Her latest was absolutely mind boggling how well she raced, and she only got beat by a nose on the end of it. And of course, that was in against this kind of tougher company, whereas Fashion Forward's moving up now. We don't know what the ceiling is on Fashion Forward, though, right? We've seen this one win 3 times in her last four, and one that's really come into her own.
Yeah, in Fashion Forward, Meg Crone's barn, that's a great barn, and doesn't have to race on the lead. We saw this one win from post 5.
Yeah, I think that this is a horse that we can't really rule out at all of winning here. I think she's a top two horse. We've got a fan enjoying the stuff right
Well,
there.
she's excited. She said, "This is a great race. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see the horses get out here." I'll tell you, I think she's also excited about 3 Watch My Honey Drip. And we probably won't get to that one once they come out on the parade because we'll touch on your top 5. But Watch My Honey Drip sitting at 20-1 right now, I think has got to maybe get onto the ticket somewhere.
Yeah, we can talk about that horse because you know me, I'm a fan of that horse. I really like Watch My Honey Trip, and I don't like her so much tonight. And it came down to me, Gary. I just couldn't find room for her on my ticket. But will she be on my own tickets, playing her underneath somewhere? Yeah, I'll be using her probably for fourth or fifth. That might be the highest I use her, but she is a horse that I think is capable of more. And I thought her last few starts anyway, she's raced pretty good, all things considered. So 19-1 inside post to work from. And I don't know how she's not getting tired out there. She's been dancing for a while now, the whole time on camera, and she still just keeps on moving. There's a wave now.
Well, she's
It's
excited. It's
glad
her
to see people having fun at the river.
It's her 15 minutes of fame, and she's going to be excited. The races are going to be starting shortly. I think we're going to see the horses coming out of the paddock in just a matter of seconds. And Rob, you and I will be back right after the post parade. This is a great dash. Field on parade for race 10. One, Shadow Rose. Jason Ride for Ryan Stewart and Lisa Stewart. Number 2 is Brindley Silster. Scotty Quiller for Courtney Bishop. 3 is Watch My Honey Drip. Travis Henry for Michelle LeBlanc. And 4 is 2 Across Marion. Nick Boyd for James Dean. 5 is Fashion Forward. Anthony Hahn for Meg Cronin Hunt Racing. And number 6, Kalina Diamond, Natasha Day for Gary Mohan and Kimberly Mohan. Number 7, Eyes on the Prize, Colin Kelly for Jacob Roberts and Christopher and Melissa Johnston. And number 8, Miss Do Right, Samuel Filia for Eric Nadeau and Gaston Bibo and Francis Richard. And 9, Premier Delight, Jeffrey Hunt for Patrick Hunt and Miguel Freitas. Field of 9, race number 10. This field of fillies and mares will be dancing in behind the gate shortly. Let's get a look at this field. And, well, Premier Delight, Rob, if you thought that you'd be looking at Fashion Forward at even money and Premier Delight sitting at, well, now 9-2, that'd have been the price that you'd have said, yeah, I think I'm going to take a shot from the trailer post.
Yeah, I didn't even think it'd be that high, to be perfectly honest, Gary. I thought we'd probably be getting about 5-2, maybe 3-1 at most. But first of all, report on the new money in that high five wager right now with the carryover of nearly 3,300. We've got just over 5,200 new money, and it's going to keep on pouring in on this great wagering opportunity here with the pool guaranteed at 10,000. Premier Delight. I mean, that last effort, I couldn't even put into words after the race how good it was. She kind of got away, pretty much last off the gate from post 7, and then just kind of kept driving on the outside towards the lead. Ended up first over. Looked like she might toil for a little bit, then all of a sudden lunged again on the end of the mile, and looks lively out there right now on the track as well. And really, her latest efforts, Gary, she has not turned in a poor one. I mean, 2 back, she got shuffled back, finished with all kinds of pace, and those 2 victories as well. If her nose is on the gate, she would be my best bet of the night. Trailing post is the only reason why she wasn't, and I think she might get caught in some traffic here. But 9-2 is one heck of a price on her, and I'm happy to stay with her.
Well, she's beaten Miss Do Right earlier, back in the middle of July, and then also you saw True That win earlier this evening, beat True That as well. So it's not just that one last start. She's really looked good. But look at number 5, Fashion Forward's probably saying, hey, yeah. But you know what? I got my spot on the gate, and she has to work from the trailer post. And if I get in front of her, I might stay there.
Yeah, and she's probably saying, I'm pretty darn good too. I've won 3 of my last 4. I've hit the board in each of my last 5, and until she got sick, she was probably one that we would have backed in here, with authority at a short price, even though moving up in class. And she had that break in stride when she came back off that bout of sickness, and that effort was probably better than it looks on paper. She made a break in stride. Definitely cost her the race. Started getting back into contention. Got a little bit unlucky with the trip at that point as well, and that's why she got hammered down to 20 cents to the dollar next time when she absolutely crushed. Moving up now in class, but we knew there would be a difference in odds between her and Premier Delight, and we're seeing that margin between them right now. And I don't think it's that great as it relates to actual talent. So I'm going to always go to the direction of the bigger price, which is where I'm happy to be right now. But Fashion Forward, if she wins, I wouldn't be surprised at all. And no doubt a lot of people will be putting her on top alone in this ticket.
Number 2, Brindley Sealster is your next one, and one you got to use somewhere because a favorable post, and also doesn't have a top 2 on the year, but 3 third place finishes and a pair of fourths in the past 6 starts.
Yeah, she's been knocking at the door, and I think the efforts have been, pretty decent. And more importantly than that, she gets good post to work from. She does have some tactical speed. She might be sitting in the right spot. I knew the 9-5 morning line. There's just no way that could happen with Fashion Forward going to go off at a shorter price than her 8-5, and Premier Delight going to take money. And there just seem to be other horses that kind of deserve to take a little more action than maybe people would expect, and that's why she's 9-2 right now. One that I couldn't get there on a win end. I mean, she's over 8 this year and just 1 for 16 in her career, but I'm more than happy to use her on the bottom end of the trifecta and the super high five.
Number 4, Two Across Marion. Aluminum to flip flops up front. I'm sure you're excited about that. But look at this is one that can get off the gate, and you do see this one 3 starts back, 56 and 2, decent mile.
And I love my flip flops. That's one of those things where if before the selections are made, if I kind of privy to those, I probably would have left off. Not to say I don't like her though; she hits the board with frequency. She's a horse that's an overlay right now. If not for those flip flops going on for me, I'd say 10-1's a big price on Two Across Marion because she's a horse that I think can kind of be in the mix throughout in here. One that I'll still use in the high five, but a little less eager with that shoeing change.
And one Shadow Rose, inside post position off back to back wins. Got to find a spot onto the bottom of the ticket.
And won two in a row. I'll be honest, I looked at it and said, okay, do we have a horse that's got some ability from the pole position? Back-to-back victories, moving up in class in those two, and now nose back on the gate. Should be confident. Hey, why not? And 20-1, I can use her, probably from the third position down and just hope for the best. If she gets the right kind of trip, she can really help it make it pay.
And you can't take them all, but it's tough to leave Miss Do Right off the ticket. Even post 8, she's looked so good, but you got to settle on some and leave some off, and Miss Do Right gets left off. More about the post than anything. Cheddar Rose with position on the inside. Brindley Sealster, Watch My Honey Drip on the inside. Two Cross Marion, Fashion Forward in the center. To the outside, Kalina Diamond. Eyes on the prize, and Miss Do Right. And the second tier, Premier Delight. It's a field of 9. It's the 10th dash. There at the start of the rough, Watch My Honey Drip. Two Across Marion, Shadow Rose on the inside. Fashion Forward is moving forward. Brindley Sealster, Premier Delight, is 6th away. Then it is Kalina Diamond. Eyes on the prize, and Miss Do Right is doing the trailing spot. Watch My Honey Drip is going to drive on now and clear to the front. Shadow Rose is second. Fashion Forward is moving forward on the outside and wants to try to come on against Watch My Honey Drip. Fashion Forward now is going to move up and move forward and clear to the lead. Watch My Honey Drip is right there watching from the pocket. Shadow Rose is third. Two Cross Marion is fourth, and then Brindley Sealster. Premier Delight is still back in sixth, and then Kalina Diamond and Eyes on the Prize. And Miss Do Right is trailing the field. They work their way up a 27-3 opening quarter. Now Anthony Hahn in Fashion Forward will look for a second panel breather. It is Fashion Forward. Watch My Honey Drip is in the pocket, and Shadow Rose. And on the outside, here comes Brindley Sealster now to challenge first over. Premier Delight has picked up a good trip second over as they race their way up a half of 57-3, a 30-second second panel breather. Fashion Forward, Brindley Sealster to the outside. Watch My Honey Drip in the pocket. Miss Do Right advancing second over fourth. Cheddar Rose is fifth, and then Two Across Marion, Kalina Diamond, Miss Do Right, and Eyes on the Prize. It is still Fashion Forward. Fashion Forward, Brindley Sealster. Watch My Honey Drip on the inside. Premier Delight is racing fourth and is going to pop out 3 wide and now move. And Shadow Rose is racing fifth. Then Kalina Diamond and Two Across Marion, Eyes on the Prize, and Miss Do Right. And now getting a little closer on the outside, Premier Delight still has work to do though. Fashion Forward, and Premier Delight. They turn for home. Brindley Sealster, Watch My Honey Drip on down the stretch drive. Fashion Forward, Premier Delight on the outside. Fashion Forward, Premier Delight as they come to the finish. Fashion Forward and Premier Delight. Fashion Forward held on. Premier Delight. And then third is between Watch My Honey Drip and Brindley Sealster, 156 and 1. It was a good dash, Rob, but Fashion Forward. And the difference was with your nose on the gate.
Yeah, it kind of turns out that way, doesn't it? Because we know Premier Delight can do good things on the engine. Obviously, can't get there from back there. You can see her kind of drifting out a little bit on the end here, and she lunges again and just misses. I mean, it's pretty crazy that 2 starts in a row now, she ends up missing by a nose of the wire, Gary.
Yeah, but such a legitimate effort. And I said, before the race, maybe pound for pound, the Premier Delight might be better than Fashion Forward. We don't know where the Fashion Forward top is, but Premier Delight has been pretty darn impressive.
Oh yeah, she's been unbelievable, really, in her last, we'll say now her last 5 starts, 6 starts. Take out that break in stride, and she's been dynamite out there. I'd love to see her get her nose in the gate next time. Tonight, though, Jeff Hunt worked out a perfect trip for her. Second over. I honestly thought she was just going to come around and maybe win by margin there, but obviously Fashion Forward, certainly a nice filly in her own right, was more than good to go off that trip and holds on as the favorite.
Yeah, it was a thrilling dash and a dash we were excited to take a look at. We'll need to wait for Miss Drew Wright next to start because post 8 didn't leave. Watch My Honey Trip at 13 to 1, one that I used for third, managed to get fourth.
Yeah, I jumped off her bandwagon on the ticket. I guess I should have done that. She ends up getting fourth. Uh, kind of played out logically. I thought on the top end of it, and of course Cheddar Rose makes her way under the bottom end of the high five at 15 to 1 from the pole position.
Exactly in the spot that you put that one on the ticket to round it out. We've seen that movie before, to use a phrase from earlier this evening. 59231 is the top five. Number five, Fashion Forward, 3-year-old, better than Cheddar Bay filly, owned by Hunt Racing, trained by Meg Chrome. Anthony Hans, the winning driver. It's the fourth win this year and lifetime. Fashion Forward won 56-1. The 10th race payouts 5. Fashion Forward 420, $3 and 289. Premier Delight for 83.60 and 3. Watch My Honey Drip 570. $2 exactor 2020. Dollar Try 49.85. Double 24.50. The dollar pick 386.70. The dollar win for 158.95. The dollar pick 505, 345.15. And the dollar high five 1123.05. Ka-ching. Nice high five. Dance on, sports fans. The 10th race, order of finish from the top down, 543-718-962. That's 543-718-962 on the bottom. Well, that concludes the live harness racing program for this Monday evening. Action resumes on Wednesday. Our first race will go to post on a Wednesday. Post time of 6:30 p.m. She's had enough dancing for the night and headed home, and so are the rest of us. But we'll be back on Wednesday night. Buenas noches, amigos. Good night, everybody. Good night, Christine.